Good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dwayne Kimball, owner and founder of KMD 89 VA Claims Consulting, and I'm here with my coworker, DJ, this evening. We are going live to talk about favorable findings. How you doing this evening, DJ?
Oh, I'm good. How about yourself? And
Man,
hello to everyone.
Yeah, another crazy week. Able to get a good workout in early in the day and jump on this live stream for everyone. So we do have the comment section open this evening, but we're not going to take questions until the end. DJ is going to talk about favorable findings because I'm still getting a lot of feedback from veterans, and they do not understand the favorable findings in the rating decision. They're still thinking, oh, I got diagnosed at the VA hospital. I submitted a nexus statement. I checked the FDC box on the VA form 21-526EZ. I submitted my claim and I got denied, but they noted favorable findings. And they're thinking just because the VA noted favorable findings, that means automatic service connection. So DJ was so kind to put together a PowerPoint presentation for everyone tonight to go through and explain those favorable findings and shed a little bit of light on, a little bit better understanding on it. So DJ, I'm going to turn it over to you. He's going to go ahead and share his screen, and we're going to get through this PowerPoint presentation. Yeah, there we go. Oh, yeah.
Looking good?
Yep.
Okay.
You good on your end?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Just see if it, there we go. Okay.
Okay. Hey, DJ, right before you get started, I just want to give a disclaimer. Just want to let everybody know that the presentation that we're about to show is for educational and informational purposes only. We do not put ourselves out as accredited claims agents. We don't give legal advice. We don't give advice before the VA. We don't give advice to veterans as it pertains to the VA claims process. We don't represent veterans. And this is just a presentation. This is research that we did. So I do encourage individuals to still go out and do your own research. Okay, this is just our opinion as it pertains to the VA claims process, and we're just sharing our experience and giving you some information. But you still have to go out and do your own research because everybody's claim is different. Okay, so keep that in mind. We're just providing, information to everyone. So just want to start out with that. All right, DJ, you can go ahead.
Okay. So we're going to get right into it. VA favorable findings. I'm not going to look directly at you because I'm going to reference some of these slides here. And so again, I'm DJ. That's Dwayne. This is KMD 89 Consulting, LLC. And for more information, the contact is down below. You see the website and the 855 Soldier or the 765-3137. Okay, on August 23rd, 2017, the president signed in a Veterans Appeals Improvement and Modernization Act. And among the VA, it was touted as one of the most significant statutory changes for veterans in decades. So that'll tell you right there, favorable findings is held in high regard. These are the references that we're going to cover: Public Law 38 CFR M21. There's a link to the benefits and benefits.va.gov. And if you want to know anything about the VA, www.va.gov, and you can search. So the purpose of this is to define favorable findings. And when you see FF, I'm talking about favorable findings on the slide. We're going to cover important information regarding favorable findings, describe the process of overturning favorable findings, and try to get to any questions. Okay, favorable findings. I'm going to show you a quick rating example. We won't dive too deep into those because, like Dwayne said, every claim can be different, and they're all different in some aspects. So the next slide will show an example of a favorable finding from a rating decision. This is an example only. The favorable finding will be listed first, then followed by the decision, and that's for example purposes only. On your rating decision, you're going to have the favorable finding towards the end. So I want you to focus on, let me see if I get my pointer up here. Okay, number 16 right here. We're going to focus on this. So this is on the rating. So this individual was rated and denied service connection for IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, claimed as bowel condition. You see what the narrative is on there. It says service connection may be granted for a disability which began in the military service, and then they give you the 38 CFR. So these CFRs have to be given by regulation. We did not find a link between your medical condition, I'm on this paragraph, and your military service. It's going to give you a 38 CFR on that one. The evidence does not show an event, disease, or injury in service. Right above that, your service treatment records do not contain complaints, treatment, or diagnosis for this condition. Now, I went back and forth on those because to highlight the most important parts, they are telling you why they denied you. And when you're denied, this law that just came into effect in 2017 now has to provide the veteran with favorable findings, and that's what's going to lead us into the next one. So service connection for IBS is denied since this condition neither occurred in nor was caused by service, and again the CFR references. So at the end of this, if this was a real rating decision, this favorable finding will be down here. So favorable finding for this instance, you have been diagnosed with a disability and VA contract medical examination, which is the QTC, November 2020, diagnosed irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. So a veteran would look at this and could say, well, hey, I was diagnosed with IBS. I filed for IBS. Why haven't I received service connection for IBS? Well, in here, they told you why. Now, you can have a diagnosis, but then you still have to provide that link from your diagnosis to an in-service event or injury in service or disease in service.
Hey, DJ, I got a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, I'm a veteran. So let's just do an example. You're RVSR, and you have to call me to verify some information, And I say, you call me, you verify, we have to go through the VA employee has to go through the verification, the state, that it's actually me.
Right.
So I say, DJ, got a rating decision. I had a nexus statement. I only had a nexus statement. I was claiming something due to service. Okay. It was actually noted in service that I had treatment for this particular condition. Let's just say back condition.
Okay.
I went out to a private physician, paid for a nexus statement, not a DBQ, but just a nexus statement.
Right.
With that nexus statement, I complete a VA form 21-526EZ.
Okay.
And on that form, I checked FDC. And I said that I'm claiming a back condition. Please see attached nexus statement. And I submit the VA form 21-526EZ along with the nexus statement.
Okay.
I submit it to the VA. The VA gets it. They schedule me a compensation and pension exam.
Okay.
I go to that exam. I get a rating decision denying the back condition. And in your rating decision, you provide the negative opinion from the examiner.
Okay.
Now I'm asking DJ, well, wait a minute. I had a nexus statement. I checked the FDC box and they state favorable findings, why did the VA, why you as the rater deny me? Why did you deny me? What was the reason? Because I had a nexus statement and I checked that FDC box and I was treated in service. I should have been service connected. Why wasn't I service connected?
Well, the key first, I would ask, do you have your medical records? Right, because medical records will chime in on with the next part here. You got a negative medical opinion. So that medical opinion, just because you paid somebody to establish a nexus, did they look at your service treatment records? Because in order to provide a nexus, you have to know the information that comes before the disability, right? So if you were injured in service, so in this condition, claim back condition, didn't have a DBQ, so that means you had to go see a CMP examination. Completed a 526EZ, checked FDC. FDC, I'm just going to be straightforward. FDC just means fully developed claim. That means you have everything at the time of you filing that 526 that inputs to include with your 526EZ all the evidence. So you have your 526EZ, you have service treatment records, you have your nexus, you have private medical documentation, you have your lay statements. So you put all that in at one time, and if you're seeing the private medical physician, you're going to write that on your 526EZ. So there's nothing the VA needs from you. The VA can, behind the scenes, go to your medical examiner, or excuse me, your private physician, and request those documents. So 526 checking off FDC just means you've sent in all the information that you've needed to send in. So that's all that means.
But so what you're saying is, so just so I understand, DJ, I'm still the veteran.
Right.
So you're saying I should get a copy of my claims folder, which would include that CMP exam, so I could see in detail why the examiner gave me a negative opinion, correct?
Yes, and that's the part I was going to get to. But
Okay,
yes, that's correct. So the main part of that is understanding why you were denied. And on here, you see, this is explaining, these 3 paragraphs are explaining exactly why you were denied. They're not making up anything. By law, they have to tell you exactly why you were denied. So that's what these 3 paragraphs are doing. And in doing so, you were denied, semicolon, however, comma, you have evidence that could be considered. So if they had a link, here was a negative medical opinion. So if they had a positive medical opinion, in this case, this will be used for a grant. But because this is a denial, they have to tell you the actual evidence that you can use, say, in the future, or that was for your benefit. And I'll explain later on in this PowerPoint exactly what I mean. I'm not trying to step ahead. But here it says, you were seen by the QTC because the vet had a back condition, didn't have a DBQ, so they scheduled them for a CMP examination with QTC. That's the vendor, not the actual VA. All right. So they scheduled them and diagnosed them with IBS.
Right. So what you're saying is, DJ, just because I had a nexus statement, I was treated in service, so I showed that I had a diagnosis, injury, complaint, or treatment in service. So just because I had that in service and I had a nexus statement and I checked that FDC box, that doesn't automatically qualify me for automatic service connection, correct? Is that what you're saying?
That's correct. That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. All right.
I mean, it'd be more detailed, but
right.
Just with going off that information you gave.
No.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, cool.
So let's, I'll skip to, well, so if you see here, this veteran was from the Vietnam era, not Gulf War. If it was Gulf War, IBS, if you have documentation that you served, and if you have IBS, that's automatic connection. So that guy, he was in the Vietnam War, and as that, IBS is not a presumptive of Vietnam. It is a presumptive of the Gulf War.
Right.
So moving on, what do you have any other?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So what is a favorable finding? So this definition is directly out of the manual. A conclusion either on a question of fact or on an application of law to facts made by an adjudicator concerning the issues under review. So that was the manual. This is the CFR. Now the 38 CFR is the ultimate guide. Everything after that stems from the CFR. So the manual stems from the CFR. So
DJ, when you say manual,
that's the M21.
M21, right?
Yes.
And that's what a lot of veterans miss. They don't go out and look at the M20. And I tell people by YouTube in the YouTube videos, I go to the M21 first, and this is why. Because that M21 is going to give you the 38 CFR references as it pertains to that particular M21. Because if you go right through that 38 CFR, that's like a black hole, you know. But the M21, you can do a search. You can narrow that search, and when you come across a M21 reference, if there's any 38 CFRs associated with that M21 reference, it's going to be there. So you can, you can kind of maneuver your way. That's the way I find it easier for me. I don't know how, what do you think? How do you do it?
Same way. Same method. Same method. So the CFR, and I highlighted some key points. Any finding favorable to the claimant. So that's a favorable finding in the name. Any finding favorable to the claimant. And I'll break it down and make it simpler in a bit. It's binding. So once it's on your rating, that favorable finding is binding. They cannot remove it only in one particular instance. That's right here. If they find a clear and unmistakable error in the favorable finding, not in the rating, but the favorable finding. If the favorable finding was clear and unmistakable, then they could remove that. And also, favorable findings relate to material element that will be required to grant the benefit sought. So this is what favorable findings is in a nutshell. Basically, it is evidence in your favor. Evidence in your favor. Think of it as that. Don't get it confused. If you had an ankle injury in service and they denied it because for whatever reasons, the medical examiner thought that you injured it after service, and then they may show, okay, well, this guy had a swelling of the ankle, and that's all they could find. Your favorable finding in this instance is your evidence, is the evidence that they would use in your favor for the rating. So it's just evidence that's positive for you, but that evidence does not guarantee that you have a service-connected condition. It's just evidence.
Can you say that again, DJ? That last piece does
evidence does not mean that you are service-connected. It's just evidence. Right. Just like any other court case. I mean, I'm sure some of you guys and gals getting some static, but you can hear me fine? Okay, I can't hear you, but I'll continue. So if you guys out there can't hear me, please write in the chat. But favorable findings relate to evidence that will be required to grant. It's just evidence. Okay, here. Now we're going to start talking about important information. So the purpose of the rating decision, the purpose of the rating decision is to concisely cite and evaluate all relevant facts considered in making the decision. Facts, evidence. So this is directly out of the manual. And this is talking to the raters. Use the table below to determine what decision elements the reasons for the decision must discuss. So it's an if-then chart. Oh, they can't hear me? Test one. Can you hear me? I'm going to go to the camera.
Test 1, 2, 3. All right, DJ, he'll be back. Yeah, I'm testing the line now. Okay, Mr. Smith, can you hear me now? No more static. Can everybody hear me? I see no more static. So can you hear
Test
it?
one.
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, they're saying that's better.
Oh, right.
Okay. All right.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, I don't know what's, man, I tell you.
Man. Hey, that's that
all this-
military ingenuity. We operate
Hey.
on the fly.
Adapt and overcome. All right, everybody's
Adapt
saying
and
they can hear us, but all right, let's get back into it.
All right,
Sorry
press
about
it.
that, guys. We I don't know, it wasn't us, so I just changed my info. But go ahead, DJ.
Okay, so now we're going to start getting into important information about favorable findings. So this is directly out the manual, and the manual reference is right here, 3.4.6.c.5.a. So the purpose of the reasons for decision. This is talking about the rating decision, talking to a rater. The purpose of the reason for decisions is to concisely cite and evaluate all relevant facts considered in making the decision. So this is an if-then chart. So this column are the ifs, and this is the then.
Hey, hold on one second, DJ.
Yes.
They're saying go back to the previous PowerPoint because I think when we were going through it, that's when we were getting our static.
Okay, is this good?
Yeah, I think it's good. I know Paul Raines, I hear you. He's saying top of PowerPoint, so I'm assuming we'll just start here and go back from there. I'm thinking that's where the static came in. Go ahead.
Sure, I can pick it up from here. So we're going to cover what is an actual favorable finding. So the definition here is from the manual. This is the manual reference. So a conclusion either on a question of fact or an application of laws to fact made by an adjudicator concerning the issues under review. Now, this is the definition by CFR. Now, the CFR, the 38 CFR, is the ultimate guide. The manual takes from the CFR, and the manual is more directive, I would say, for raters, because it'll tell you how to do something and explain to you and give you examples sometimes. So 38 CFR defines it: any finding favorable to the claimant made by either a VA adjudicator or by the Board of Veterans Appeals is binding on all subsequent VA and board adjudicators. So that means when you get that rating and you had a favorable finding underneath, it's binding. It cannot be removed except for one circumstance, unless it's rebutted by evidence that identifies a clear and unmistakable error in the favorable finding. If they find an error in your rating, like say the percentage is off or something, that can't overturn a favorable finding. Only when there's an error in the favorable finding. Anybody have a problem, they can look that up directly in the manual. Favorable findings relate to material element that would be required to grant the benefit sought. So in essence, what I was saying is that a favorable finding is basically evidence in your favor. Evidence in your favor. And just because you have evidence does not mean you have service connection. It's not automatic. It's evidence.
Right. So even, yeah, exactly. So if they put favorable findings in a rating decision that denied you, that doesn't mean it's automatic. It's going to be an automatic grant. You could have favorable findings and still be denied because the examiner more than likely gave a negative opinion, correct?
That's correct. And that next chart is going to probably clarify it more.
Okay.
Further. So this is going to speak to that question that Dwayne just had. So this is important information about favorable findings. This is directly from the manual. And when I say manual, I'm talking about the M21. So the M21-1 says purpose of the reasons for decision. We talk about rating decisions. The purpose of the reason for decision is to concisely cite and evaluate all relevant facts considered in making the decision. And then it directs them to use the table below to determine what decision elements the reasons for decision must discuss. So it's a if-then chart. The if, the left column, the then on the right column. So Dwayne was just asking earlier. So awarding the claim. If me as the rater, if I'm the rater, if I'm awarding the claim, then the reasons for decision must address the fact that all elements required to decide the issue were met and all findings are favorable to the claimant. Now, if I'm confirming and continuing an existing evaluation, then the reason for decision must address the findings that are favorable to the claimant. And then it gives you a reference. Now, if the rating is denying the claim, the reasons for decision must address the following: the theory of service connection being addressed, claimant's contentions, benefits denied, laws and regulations. We saw before that they explained why they denied it, gave the applicable law or regulation, the reason for denial, and most importantly, findings favorable to the claimant. Now, I'm particularly talking about denying the claim. Denying the claim, the rater has to include favorable findings. If they are there, they have to do it. So if you're claiming your ankle, you were denied for your ankle, but in your service treatment records back in 1996, they show a sprained left ankle, they have to write that. Sprained left ankle noted in service treatment records, June 5th, 1996. Now, some more from the manual. This is a requirement to notify the claimant, that's the veteran, of favorable findings. Each notice of a decision, that's the rating decision, affecting benefits must address any findings made by the adjudicator, that will be the rater, the DRO, that are favorable to the claimant. So it says, note, this requirement applies to decision notices issued on or after February 19th, 2019, when the VA started applying it. Binding nature of favorable findings. I talked about that before, that these are binding. by law. Once you've been denied and the favorable findings are listed in your rating, they're binding by law and only can be removed if there's a CUE, that's a clear and unmistakable error, with the favorable finding.
Okay. Hey, DJ, right quick before we get into this next slide.
Yes.
We got about 45 people in here, and I just want to let them know we're doing the town hall. We had a full-part town hall event. We did the town hall where we were asking veterans questions, a couple of weeks ago, week and a half ago.
Right.
Tomorrow night at 7 p.m., we're going to do the Kahoot quiz, the VA claim quiz. You can find the link to sign up in the description section of this video in my last video that I put out last Friday about tinnitus. The event is free. I did it back in December, and the individual that won, we got him on. He's on tonight, Raymond Blackman, certified public accountant. He won the event back in December. Even though it's a quiz, it's to test your knowledge, but it's educational and it's going to be fun at the same time. So if you click on our website link in the description section, you click on it, say show more, you'll see the blue thumbnail will say the VA claim quiz. You sign up, it'll go to the event page and you sign up. Now, if you don't have a dual screen, you're going to need your phone, okay? Because you're going to go to the browser on your phone, type in Kahoot.com. So when you sign up, we'll have emails. So if you sign up tonight, you'll get an email, I believe, an hour before the event or sometime tomorrow. We normally send out 2 or 3 days prior a reminder. And once you log in, we're going to give you the code, but you have to register for the event. You go to Kahoot.com. We'll bring up our screen. We'll share it. You type in the code, and then you'll be able to answer the questions right from your phone. They'll be tallied up, and there'll be a winner announced at the end. Okay, we still got some seats available, so make sure you go sign up. It's going to be fun, even though it's a quiz. It's going to be educational, but it's going to be fun at the same time. And DJ and I will be giving some explanations to some of the answers to the questions. Okay. All right. Sorry about that, DJ.
Free to sign up.
Yeah, it's free to sign up.
Sign up.
Free to sign up.
But yeah, you should be there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So favorable findings, once they're on the rating decision, they're binding, only can be removed if later is found to have a clear and unmistakable error with the favorable finding. Now, the reasonable doubt rule. Some veterans think that, okay, I have favorable finding shows that I have a current diagnosis, but there's a negative medical opinion. Shouldn't they give me the reasonable doubt? Here's the reasonable doubt rule, straight out the manual. Means the evidence provided by the claimant beneficiary must only persuade the decision maker that each factual matter is at least as likely as not. That comes to play later, and I'll show you why. So, types of evidence. Remember, we're talking about favorable findings. Favorable findings is just basically evidence. Evidence. When did it happen? And what is it? So evidence is every type of proof offered to establish a fact. Some people think you got to go get something certified. You got to get a notary to stamp it. Evidence is every type of proof offered to establish a fact. That's VA regulation said that, not DJ. So the table below describes the different types of evidence. And this is also in the manual. So evidence, you have testimonial, documentary, real, demonstrative, direct, circumstantial. These are the types of evidence. And these are the descriptions of those. So you can have, you don't have to provide written evidence. You can tape somebody, an older guy, say for this example, he's a quadriplegic. And a guy's trying to, or woman's trying to establish the fact of Agent Orange. You have a tape recorder. Identify the person, the date, record it, identify yourself, the date, send it in. So that will fall under testimonial, oral, and written statements. But just know that evidence is every type of proof offered to establish a fact.
Let me ask you this, DJ. I'm a veteran. So the questions I'm asking you tonight, DJ, I'm the veteran. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So if I get a denial, a rating decision, and I'm denied, this evidence that you speak of, if I submit a VA form 20-0996 for a high-level review, can I submit new evidence with that 0996?
Now, you can go different ways with that. Are you talking about you want to do an appeal?
I'm doing appeal. Can I submit new evidence with an appeal?
Not at higher level. They don't even want to discuss. They're going to look at to see if there was a mistake made and go straight to that evidence. So what you have now, it can't matter depending on the circumstances, because everything is not just black and white 100%. But those higher level appeals, those are droves. Droves have specific purposes, and raters have specific purposes. So a rater does the rating. A drove, that's a decision review officer. That's a higher level than a rater. So a drove is looking at the mistakes. Did the person before the rater make a mistake? Did the rater before that rater make a mistake? They're looking at the whole lineage of evidence and decisions that were made, and they're not looking for new information because you're appealing something. You're saying that whatever happened before, I should have got granted because everything that you had points to me being granted. So they're going to look through that. They're going to sift through that. That's what they're experts at, and then they'll make the decision based off of that information. Now, there are particular instances where they could request new information. Droves have a little bit more leeway than most.
Right.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, because a lot of veterans, the reason why I asked that, because a lot of veterans think that they could submit new evidence. And that's why I tell people, like you just explained, they're looking downstream to see if there was a mistake made by the VSR and, you know, in any development that maybe wasn't done, the RVSR, if they denied service connection prematurely without certain development, was the rationale giving the negative opinion, was that supporting, you know, things? That's what they're looking for. Right. But if that, like you said, if that process was followed, you're not going to win that high level review, because the VA process worked the way it's supposed to work. And a lot of veterans think, well, I'm just going to go right to a high level review because I was denied and I think I should have been service connected. But guess what? A lot of them don't have a copy of their claims folder. So they're not looking at what that decision review officer is looking at. You know, you just can't do a high level review and say, okay, I'm gonna get that informal conference and I'm just gonna start talking.
That's true. That's true. And they look at not lumping everybody in one category, but, you know, high level review. It sounds important, but you have to be educated. And that's one thing I really love about Dwayne. He punches that. That's his talking point, educating the veteran. So if you are educated and you understand what the high level review, just look it up and it'll tell you exactly what a higher level review is for, because you're wasting time. You're going to be wasting not only your time, you're going to be wasting the drove's time, and you're going to be taking away time from other veterans that are doing what they're supposed to do. But,
and a key thing to remember, high level review appeals, they have their own M21, and what we're talking about is what, part 4. The appeals, a high level review is part 5 of the M21, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, they have some different ones. You know,
that's another black hole.
Yeah, and we can get a drone here because, you know, we have some.
Yeah. All right, sorry about that, DJ.
No worries. But okay, so types of evidence. I just brought up some different types of evidence: treatment records, personal records. These two are the most common. Police reports. Say, for example, you're trying to prove that you were injured by an assault that may have occurred off base on your off-duty time, but you were still active duty, or military sexual trauma. You have a police report, lay statements, pictures, recorded testimony, newspaper articles, so on and so forth.
Now, I'm getting in this veteran role, now understand these questions I'm asking DJ. We didn't rehearse these questions before.
That's true.
And so I'm asking him right off the fly. Okay. So let me ask you this, DJ.
Yes,
A
sir.
lot of veterans say lay statements. Can you explain lay statements at the different level, meaning the weight that they carry? Now, when you say adjudicator, you're talking about the RVSR.
Right.
When you're talking about high-level review, you're talking about the decision review officer. Now, the BVA, which is a judge. Can you explain to them how much weight that lay statement carries? Who has, if I submit a lay statement, who has the most authority to grant that benefit based off that lay statement?
Whew.
The rater, the DRO, or the judge?
See, and that's a little bit of a little hot topic. I was high on this. Lay statements, RVSRs, raters, you have the authority to use the lay statement the way it's supposed to be used. Okay, and let me explain. Lay statement by itself, a lay statement by itself, not so much probative value. However, a lay statement along with additional evidence combines to make the story, the complete story. So as a rater, I've rated previously, I've rated using lay statements and lay evidence. And some people, I'm just gonna be honest, some didn't, some did not. And DROs have tremendous leeway. And of course, a judge can set precedents if they so choose to.
Oh yeah.
You know? But lay statements, people discount lay statements. But I always recommend write yourself a lay statement or have someone provide lay testimony for you, because in that instance where you find yourself submitting for an appeal or a higher level review, that evidence is in there, and that evidence was of a record when you were denied.
Right. And I think I was probably one of those raters that didn't use it, and this is why. Because like you just said, a lay statement with other evidence completes that picture.
Exactly.
And a lot of times when the file came to my desk, it didn't complete that picture. And so I couldn't move forward. If it did, yeah. But a lot of times, for the majority of the times I can remember, it didn't. And that's the critical part. Like you said, it has to complete that entire picture.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to talk about examples of what the VA looks at for favorable findings. Is the veteran claiming service connection for his or her condition based on military service? If it was an incurrence, that was there a qualifying event, injury, or disease during service? Now, that's the number one question any vet should ask before they file a claim. Qualifying event, injury, or disease during service. So if there was not, no, then no favorable findings are required to be annotated on that rating decision. So I'm talking about a rating decision. So if was there a qualifying event, injury, or disease during service? No, you can't be service connected without that. If there was, then yes, favorable finding. When and where did you find this information? Was there a diagnosis? Does the veteran have a current diagnosis of the condition being denied? No. If you don't have a current diagnosis, then they're not going to write any favorable findings down. If you do have a diagnosis, say for example, like we were talking about, you have current diagnosis of ankle strain, but did you have any favorable findings on your rating decision? Now, you know, let me look back at that. If it was something current as of that date we gave you for 2019, then you should be checking this out on your rating decision. The more you know about your rating decision, the more equipped you are to get the rating you think you deserve. So in this case, yes, there was a diagnosis currently. So now favorable findings. What is the date of diagnosis, source, and date you're using? So it'll be something like left ankle strain, St. Petersburg, VA MC records. and the date, let's say March 4th, 2021. Now, what about the nexus? Is there a positive opinion with rationale of record? Nexus, Dwayne love nexus. I'm gonna get them started. So nexus, is there a positive opinion with rationale of record? If no, then there's no favorable findings for that element. If yes, then they have to write the favorable findings. What source and date are you using? So basically, remember, look at this as evidence. Favorable findings is evidence in your favor.
Right. And before you go on, DJ, I just want to say, I want to give a shout out to the two individuals that they had the training today, earlier today on Nexus statements. And it went over about 30 minutes, but it was two veterans and they both had got denied. So I'm not going to say their names, but I want to give a shout out to them and thank them for signing up. And you said something about Nexus statement. A lot of veterans, they call it IMOs, independent medical opinions. You know, I was like, you know, okay, what is that? But what they fail to realize is they hardly ever have I seen a veteran get a Nexus statement completed and have that rationale in there. And you hit it on the head. Medical opinion with the rationale. There you go. With rationale of record. And they don't understand what a rationale is. Okay. And we do provide educational classes on that monthly. And we had one today. They're on the website where you can sign up for the Kahoot. And we go over it and we break it down what DJ's talking about here, that Nexus statement. Okay.
Okay, now documenting favorable findings. So now we know what the favorable findings are. We know the manual references, the guidance of a favorable finding. We also know that if there's a denial, you have to have favorable findings on your rating decision. If it's not, if it's a grant, you don't need them. Why? Because you're service connected. They don't need to tell you why. You service connected. Everything is service connected based on that diagnosis or disability, excuse me. So documenting favorable findings. So decision makers must address any favorable findings in rating decisions based on the decision rendered as shown below. Issues granted. There's no requirement to list favorable findings. So you're looking on your rating decision. If you have a grant, tinnitus, granted, 10%. They're not going to give you favorable findings. Reported ringing in the ears, January 5th, 2010, launch through airbase. They're not going to do that. So now issues denied and confirmed, identify and add favorable findings. Remember, that's a denial. So anytime they deny you, they have to tell you what. They have to tell you the reason why they denied you, and then they have to tell you the reference that supports their decision for denying you, and then they have to give you the evidence that's in your favor, which we call favorable findings. So they'll give you favorable findings, the evidence that they see in your record that they could use if they were granting, but they're not granting, so they have to list it.
So DJ, can you, and you just put it up here again, can you explain confirm, CNC, confirmed denials, confirmed value? What is that? What does that mean?
Okay, so a confirmed denial, let's say the veteran submitted for hearing loss, was denied. Comes in again next year, my hearing has gotten worse. I'm going to reapply. I'm going to do an appeal, whatever route they take. Rating comes back, CNC, confirm and continue. Basically, it's a denial that has been confirmed again. So not only did you get denied the first time, you get denied the second time. It's just a nice way of saying you're denied. Right. And a lot of time is when they were denied the first time, they didn't look at the information that we're telling you to look at. They didn't look at the reason for denial, look at that reference, then go take a look at the reference physically to see if everything they're doing aligns with that reference. It's not a long list of facts. It's just a reference. Look at the reference, and then with these newer rating decisions, look at the favorable findings. So did I speak to your question?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I just want, because a lot of people, they may not understand when, you know, CNC or denial. And I saw you popped up CNC confirmed evaluations, you know, so
Right.
they'll know exactly what that,
Okay.
when you say confirmed, what that means.
Now that's a denial. Now confirmed, I guess, a confirmed grant like tinnitus. You've already been granted tinnitus. The maximum you can get for tinnitus is 10%. But
There you
then
go.
some veterans will again apply for an increase in tinnitus, and then they'll say, okay, confirm and continue. You are at the maximum allotted benefit for this disability, which is 10%.
I used to like those because, oh man, that was a 5-minute rating right there. See,
Quick
because you
point.
know, you look at the previous rating code sheet. Oh, you already service connected. Boom, you know,
Right.
CNC, and man, you done. 5 minutes, you get your points. You're on to the next one.
Yeah. So now we're talking about documented favorable findings. I already covered what happens when you get granted a condition, what happens when you denied a condition, what happens when you get an increased or confirmed evaluation. But which stands out? Denials. Remember, favorable finding goes with denials. Why? Because all vets are happy when they're service connected. When you're service connected, who cares about a favorable finding? I don't care about my ankle being reported in my service treatment records in 1980 because I'm service connected. I got the percentage, I get the treatment. Veterans want to know when they're denied, though. They want to know. And that's why the court case helps veterans by giving them the evidence that we have of record. So when you go to fight that again, we already know that evidence of record and it's binding. We can never change that. 10 years from now, if you come in to get an increase for hearing loss and in your records is a favorable finding, hearing loss at these hertz while in service, they can't deny that because that's a fact that was found in service, which is a favorable finding. So documentation requirements. When documenting favorable findings, clearly identify the material element. So again, the 4 things: incurrence, nexus, diagnosis, and presumptions, like herbicide, chemical, radiation, so on and so forth. Then briefly state the evidence. So use to support the finding. Only include the most relevant and recent evidence of record. Here are some examples of favorable findings. And again, clearly identify the material element found to met, such as incurrence, nexus, diagnosis, or presumption. Here we go here. So the element met, incurrence, the material element approved. The evidence shows that a qualifying event, injury, or disease had its onset during service. So these are the text that you'll have on your rating decision. Supporting evidence. Here's the example. So service treatment records from service period January 2016 to March 2018 show treatment for a right knee injury. So this person, let's just say this person had an event in service, was denied for a right knee injury. Say he claimed right knee meniscus tear. And in service, they had service treatment records, January 16th to March 2018 show treatment for a right knee injury. He may have had a negative medical opinion, which shows that his current condition of his knee actually resulted from an accident, say like a bicycle accident, after he retired from service. So this is an instance where that denial and this service treatment would show the evidence, which is a favorable finding. That's incurrence. So a nexus is basically a link. So you got the injury in service, you got the current diagnosis. To link those two together for service connection, we're talking about the nexus. So a nexus or link has been established between your claimed issue and an in-service event or injury. So here's how it will be worded. An example: VAMC Houston examination dated March 17, 2017 established a relationship between your right knee injury in service and your current diagnosed right knee arthritis. So it's providing that link. Diagnosis: you have been diagnosed with a disability, and that supporting evidence. VAMC Houston examination dated March 17, 2017 confirms a current diagnosis of right knee arthritis. So now that we know what the favorable findings are, when you will see favorable findings, and that's what denials, and favorable findings are simply evidence, and they have to be included on rating decisions involving denials. So now let's worry about overturning favorable findings. How can you overturn a favorable finding? Previously we mentioned only way is a Q, clear and unmistakable error. So favorable findings are binding on all subsequent adjudicators unless clear and unmistakable error occurred. So subsequent adjudicators. So if I'm a rater, I rated your case, I denied you tinnitus because, excuse me, you had no complaints in service in your MOS, AFSC, whatever your duty was, your job didn't involve high noise exposure. So I denied it. I put favorable findings, veteran current diagnosed through St. John's Hospital with tinnitus, dated May 1st, 2018. That's me. Then next year you come back and you trying to appeal it. Then it goes to Dwayne. So now those favorable findings that I put on that rating are binding. So he sees those. He knows directly he knows right where to go. Okay, we saw this in service. So what is his current condition? And can we combine what happened in service with his current condition? Do we have the story to fill in the blanks? Do we have that nexus? So a Q must satisfy a finding that evidentiary record as a whole completely lacks any plausible support for the favorable finding. Overturning previously established favorable findings can be done, and that's because it's a Q with single signature authority. And however, if overturning the favorable finding results in a Q, then normal Q signatures requirement exists. Now, these are for the rater. This is more so internal stuff. But we're presenting this to you because we're telling you that if you have a favorable finding and it doesn't speak to the presentation of your disability, you can question it, and you can question it. You can write it simply on a 4138. I disagree with this rating, the Q, and then just write it out the best way you can. And if you have any further any questions, please call me. Because a lot of veterans don't know the correct terminology. You don't know the medical terminology or VA terminology. So
the VA claim language, the VA language. Now,
yes.
Let me ask you this, DJ.
Yes, sir.
Two questions. Is there a time limit on a CUE? Okay. And then the second question, who has the burden of proof for the CUE?
Well, clear and unmistakable error. I'll take the last one first because it might play into the first one. So, hey, the veteran, if you're saying that there's an error, then tell me about it. Identify it. Document it, just like you would with your child with their homework. You saw they made an error, and you know how to fix it. This is where you made your error. This is how you made your error, and this is me explaining it to you. And you want to provide the evidence. This case, veteran, and then time. No. If you find, we call Q. Well, I called Qs. I think the oldest one was probably back to 1980, 81. So I'm doing a claim here in this decade, and I see something from 1980. So when I was doing the rating decision, I will have to go back and review the previous rating decision just to make sure that everything lined up and there wasn't any mistakes, because if there was a mistake and you didn't correct it, that would become your mistake.
Right.
Yeah, I know it's not fair, but veterans only see that, that consumer side. Like right. you go to a restaurant, I've been waiting 30 minutes for my meal and it's not here, or I haven't got my water. But you don't see what's going on back there. It could have been a small fire, anything. But in this case, well,
let me ask you this, DJ.
Too deep.
Have you ever had to call a CUE on yourself? You found out you made a mistake and you had to call a CUE on yourself when you did a rating.
I did.
Oh, yeah.
I did. And if you do it long enough, you're going to do that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, and that's what any job, you know, you want to put out the best product possible. And if you finalize something and then you gave it a last once over, because, you know, we're all human, things run together. You done reviewed this thing like 3 times. You finalize it. Okay, shooting a veteran out, this rating decision. He should be happy. He or she should be happy. They're getting a nice chunk of change. Kids getting DEA Chapter 35. Oh, man. I didn't award to Chapter 35. And we know this. It's automatic. But sometimes you do it, you know. But, yeah, I've done it.
Okay. Yeah, me as well. That's why I asked that. I've done it plenty of times. So,
but the ultimate thing you got to get out of that is, well, if we call a Q on ourselves, the veteran never sees that.
Yeah,
it's just us doing quality on ourselves to make sure that when it gets to you, it's correct. And that's what you want. You want everyone to find it before that leaves out that federal installation going to you.
Right. Now, I think if it's a development error, they have to go back and tell the veteran. But veterans say, well, hey, I did a high-level review and they're doing they call it a CUE because of development error. That doesn't mean you're going to get service connected. It could be simple as something like you put on box 17 on that 526EZ, you were treated at a doctor. And the VSR didn't go out and get send you that 4142 and get those records. So now they got to go back and do that development. Once they do that development, guess what they're going to do? They're going to send it back to the rater and be like, hey, the rater going to look at it and be like, okay, did we give a CMP exam? Let's send this over to the doctor to see if that changes his or her medical opinion, if there was a CMP exam involved. If they do that, the doctor, 9 times out of 10, just my opinion, they're not going to go back and look at all that stuff. They're going to be like, nope, it doesn't change my opinion. It's still a negative opinion. And then they're going to do another rating doing what? Confirming and continuing that denial. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Yep.
Right. And, most often than not, if you guys got to understand, there's a lot of information that comes to a rater. Sometimes, especially older veterans, sometimes they was just writing stuff out. They might write it on a piece of paper. They might write on some toilet tissue, because 8 years ago, there was no requirement for that. So you could send it in however you needed to send it in, on the back of an old tattered and torn up envelope that you done used over Christmas holiday with some stains on it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Raters get all of that stuff. But the thing is, when you know better, you do better. And that's what we're trying to do here at KMD 89, trying to just get you prepared so you can fight your own battles and win them. So in a summary, hopefully I didn't skip over anything for some folks earlier because of the technical difficulties. But in summary, we define a favorable finding. Just look at favorable finding as evidence in your favor. That's it. Evidence in your favor. We talked about the important information regarding favorable findings. And the most important is you will receive a favorable finding on a denial. If you look at your rating decision and it's recent and you've been denied, you should have a favorable finding if it existed. Now, if it didn't exist, of course, you won't have a favorable finding. If you say, I left ankle injury in service, they denied you because they searched through all your medical records, all your personnel records to see if anything had been reported, letter of determination, and there's nothing. There won't be a favorable finding unless you have a current diagnosis. Then that's a favorable finding. And we described the process for overturning favorable findings. Those can only be overturned if there's a clear and unmistakable error with the favorable finding. Not just a rating like Dwayne talked about before, if they didn't go out and request your evidence or something. No, with the favorable finding. If I list left ankle injury in service January 1st, 2018, and then Dwayne gets it after me, oh, that's not in service. That was a typo. It wasn't ankle. It was something else. Now that's a clear and unmistakable error.
Right.
So if we have any questions.
We do, DJ.
Okay.
But before we get into that, I got a comment from Derwin the Destroyer. He had a question about some things. I'm going to go back through the timeline. Derwin, don't go anywhere. I'm going to answer your question because I do have an answer. I know I typed something in the thing, but it is an easier way. But just hold tight. We're going to go back and do some questions. But before I get to that, I want to remind everybody we have our VA claim quiz tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Go to. Are you done with that presentation? Okay, cool.
I can bring it up anytime you
okay. Remember, we got that VA claim quiz tomorrow. It's going to be educational. It's going to be fun. Make sure you go to the description section. It's going to take you to our website, and you can get to the link to sign up. Okay, so definitely check that out. All right, and Derwin, don't go anywhere. I'm going to answer that question. But we got 71 people viewing. Everybody needs to give a thumbs up to DJ for that presentation that he did. DJ, man, awesome job. And like I said, I was just throwing some questions out there to DJ. We didn't rehearse those, and I was just, and so you can see how his response was, especially when, as a previous rater, okay, he put a lot of time into that presentation, I'm sure, to share it with you guys so you can understand what favorable findings is and give some information around that. So give him a thumbs up. Go in the comment section of the not this comment, not leaving a comment here, but in the comment section of the video and tell him what you thought about it. So DJ, I'm gonna go back up to the top.
Okay.
And we're gonna take about 20, 30 minutes to answer some questions. Okay. I got a frat brother of mine in here from Arkansas. Go Mob. He's always on here. Jay Zondo, awesome video. Thank you. Here we got one from Tattoo. My service records was destroyed in a flooding at records department before I went digital, so I was spared. Okay. And we got Carmen Davis. How do I schedule a phone appointment? Go to the description section, which lists our website. On the website, you can sign up for a 15-minute free consultation. And understand, everyone, that free 15-minute consultation is to talk about the educational services that we provide. We can't spend a lot of time trying to answer questions as it pertains to your claim. We have different educational trainings throughout the month that are listed on our website. Like you signed up, if you sign up for the event, where I'm saying you go to the website, you sign up for the event, then you can you'll see that. Let's see. Robert Hollis, good day, Dwayne. My virtual VBA appeal will be soon, I'm told. Hey, get educated on your claim because, man, that's a big day. You talking about a VBA appeal.
Oh, yeah.
I know you've been waiting a minute, So, hey, have all your ducks in a row. We got living in Mexico. Greetings from MX. I had the VA deny me for hearing loss and was only given service connection for VA treatment for the same. Now, I always ask this veteran, he's always on, what part of Mexico you live in? And I think it's right outside of Monterrey. I think I got it right. I can't remember the name, but I know he always says it's outside of Monterrey. So thanks for coming in. This is, people telling us, hey, we got static. I'm glad we got that corrected. Let's see here. I'm just going down. And Jen tells us can't hear nothing. All right. Chad Hawkins, Lima Charlie. I'm just trying to get down people to some of the questions. Okay. Awesome PowerPoint. Hey, I think that Jody, thanks for that feedback, Jody. We got Two Black Barbie, great information. Thank you. Okay, here's a question, DJ. What if they died and went to Gulf War in oil fields with voice record for wife? I'm assuming when you were talking about some of the evidence, the types of examples you were saying for evidence, I'm not really understanding that question.
I would ask this way: if was the claim pending at the service member's death? You know, if it was
Right.
pending,
Because then they could possibly use that voice recording going forward. Okay,
that's strong evidence.
Okay, yeah,
that's strong evidence.
Let's see. If the decision there are 2 or 3 favorable elements, can I submit my supplemental claim with only the missing element? You want to take that one, DJ?
If in the decision there are 2 of the 3 favorable elements, can you write on there which of the 2 that you have?
Right. Well, I think with the supplemental, what people need to keep in mind, it needs to be new evidence, and that's new evidence that was not used in that rating decision. And you have to look in the evidence section of that rating decision, because sometimes they'll say, "Oh, I'm submitting my STRs." Well, they already looked at that. That's not new evidence. Evidence that was not used. So, yeah, I would say if that missing element is new evidence, then it could be submitted with, the supplemental claim. And keep in mind, people, like the 526CZ, and I've done videos on it, like I think it's the first 7 pages, it gives some directions of that 526CZ. Look at that. Same way with the 0995 and the 0996. Look at those pages that has all that wording on it. Read it, because it gives you some valuable information, new evidence, only new evidence, stuff like that. So take the time and read it. Here we go. When I have a question as a direct service connection TBI, if not diagnosed but had a valve of 3,000 PSI hidden head, I already had an injury before entering service. Whew. You want to take that, DJ? Or you want me to tackle it?
Let me see. Do I have a question? As a direct service connection TBI, if not diagnosed, so I take it you're asking, how can you claim TBI? So if you don't have it diagnosed, you don't have to have a diagnosis, and the VA tells you that automatically. You don't have to have a diagnosis in order to, suffice some of that evidence. But if you had a 3,000 PSI, whatever that was, hit your head, and you can substantiate that. Remember, we're talking about evidence, what you can substantiate by record, like a line of duty determination, evidence from a supervisor or a colleague. Yeah, but if you already had a head injury before entering the service, then that will fall under 5 ways of service connection, which would be probably the aggravated. So question is a little vague, but if you can prove that you were hit in the head and you think that caused a TBI, you can submit a claim for that. But remember, go back and look at some of the videos. Dwayne got some good ones about service connection, and it'll step you through it. But yeah, if you got hit in the head with a tennis racket, and it could do damage.
Right. And you know what? I want to challenge everybody on here tonight, or eventually may listen to this. Submit a request, Privacy Act request, to get a copy of your claims folder.
That's the most important.
Get a copy of it. I showed it earlier. I had the CD, and I think you were showing yours on our last live stream.
Oh yeah.
People, they say, well, this, that. Get a copy of, get a CD. So I would like to challenge everybody. We got 78 people on here. Leave in the comments, Dwayne, I submitted a request. And guess what? I left how I requested mine verbatim, step by step, the link to the form I used and the information that I put on that form and the address where I mailed it and the fax number and all of my YouTube videos in the description section. It's in there. There you go. DJ showing his. A lot of people ask about this information, this, that, and the other. You'd be surprised what you find. When I got a copy of mine, they had my high school transcripts in there. Man, they were showing.
There's a lot of good information in there.
Yeah, I got a D in shop, sleeping.
Yeah.
You know what I'm like? Yeah. So it's like, NCORs, all that stuff was in there.
Yeah.
So let's see what we got.
And that's one of the most important things that a veteran can do for themselves is get your copy. Get your copy. YOUR or YO, whatever makes you happy. Get it.
Right.
Because if you got an injury and you're trying to prove it, say you're going to a private physician, you can just bring those records. Okay, I've been having this since this date in the military, but it's like I could never get them to understand what I was going through. An expert now, with the technology they have now, can siphon through all that and provide you with the proper nexus that you may need, and even supply a DBQ.
Right. And that's one of the services that we provide also. If you have your medical records from service, we'll do a review, a scrub of those records to look out, and pull out treatment, complaint, diagnosis, and injury. I did one for a veteran. He said, I only found 12 things. I found like 22 or 30. Okay. So contact us if you have that. It says, hey, Dwayne, my first live with you. I think I seen you somewhere before. Come back, Douglas. I left you a message at the office. I'm assuming on the phone. I just checked it. I don't know if you emailed it or not, but welcome. Come back, Douglas. I'm assuming if I was deferred, then granted, when would the effective date start? That's a trick question because it would depend. Did you have an intent to file? Was it increase? Was it a reopen? Was it a denied, reopen? Did you continuously pursue your claim? Other information is going to be needed to answer that question. For example, if you filed a claim in 2005, you were denied, and you kept appealing, doing supplemental claims, and you never let your appeal period end, which is 365 days, and then you get service connected now, then they would have to go back to 2005. But if there's a break in that 365 days, then your claim starts over. So it's going to depend on, a lot of information that would have to be reviewed to answer that question.
Yeah, because effective date.
Whew, man,
we talk about.
I think that's probably the most errors that Raiders get. Maybe is that effective date because there's so much information. You got liberalizing law. Yep. You got when the law changed. Was the claim received within a year of the law change? Was the claim received outside of the law change when it was added to a presumptive list? And oh man, you just
remember this stuff is we're talking about. It's all fluid. Laws change as court cases come out, and precedents are set. So
man,
they get changes all the time.
Yeah.
And, but keep in mind, I made a note up here. I wanted to make sure you have to have a current disability, then a event, disease, or injury in service, then that nexus or that link connecting those first two together.
Right. And that's, and I tell a lot of people, they think they be calling VA. Oh, I got to get in. I got to get all this other stuff. You know what I did? I went right around the corner to the urgent care right here in Apollo Beach. Walked in there, complained about my back. Guess what? That was my current disability. Simple as that.
Yeah.
People overthink it. They overthink it. They're on YouTube. Look, that's what I did. I just walked in there. I was like, hey, my back. And guess what? That was my new evidence when I submitted. Back then, they call it reopen and reconsideration, but now it's supplemental. That was my new evidence as well. So I killed two birds with one stone. Simple as that. Walked in, paid my copay. When I walked out, I was like, hey, give me that progress report. I need that. It's like you walking with somebody, giving them snaps. I need that. So Comeback Douglas says, how about pictures? I'm thinking he's talking about when you're talking about examples of evidence. And I used to get this a lot. But keep in mind, I had a veteran submit a claim and say, hey, look at me. This is proof of me in the Gulf War. Well, that picture, I don't know if that was you or not.
Right.
That could be somebody else. Now, let's just say you have an article, and this happened to me. I had an article with me in it and General Shinseki, used to be the Undersecretary of the Army back in 2009, presented me with an award. That's a picture. And below in that caption, guess what? It had my name and his name. But me just taking a picture right now, smiling and sending it in, me as a rater, I don't know if that's actually you. So, like when you take a high school, your yearbook, and you have a picture, and then on the right it says, your name and all that stuff, or something like that, then that's when I take a picture. But you just taking a picture, you standing in the middle of the desert, that vet don't know if that's you or not.
Right. And I've also had some for some guys, during the Vietnam era, the combat photographers were taking pictures outside the wire, and they just so happened to catch this one vet. He kept being denied, and one of his friends had that photo, and it showed him. And I mean, it was a close up of him. You could see his name tag.
There you go.
And they had a weapon. So like, what more do you need? And then it was certified by the combat photographer.
Yeah.
So that in conjunction with other evidence.
There you go. They got him over the hump.
Right.
All right. I'm gonna let you take this one, DJ, because I know you had talked about it. Oh, wait a minute. We got a super sticker from somebody. We're gonna get to that in a minute.
Okay.
But let's see. There's the next question, DJ.
It's been my experience that CMPs, we don't govern what goes on in CMPs. I'm speaking as a prior rater. They don't govern what goes on in CMPs. That's the examiner's territory. However, it is under the auspice of the VA. But normally at the CMPs, they don't want any information. They don't want any new information. They don't want any evidence. Those they'll try to direct you to send those e-benefits, or the the regular VA channels, mail, fax, and whatnot.
I'm gonna take this next question, DJ.
Okay.
How would you approach an examiner that sets you up when you are describing your symptoms? I almost got in trouble. I don't suggest people to do this, but when I had an examiner try to do that to me, I already knew, I felt that they were going to deny me. So I'm like, I'm about to get my money's worth. So I just unloaded on them. I went off. Now, I don't suggest people doing that, but I had a strong feeling that they were going to deny me.
Not physically went off.
Right. Verbally. Because they had that panic button in there. You got security coming. Then next thing you know, you end up on CNN somewhere. But, I just told them, I was like, look, I don't think you're an advocate for the vet. Obviously, you never serve. You suck at what you're doing. I just lit into them because I knew they were going to say, give me a negative opinion. So I just, let my feelings be known. Now, I don't suggest you do that, but that's just something I did. I don't know if you had an experience like that, DJ, or not.
Oh, yeah. And you go to enough, it's unfortunate, but you may have that experience. Well, I've had the pleasure to deal with a lot of professional people as well along the way. But this one in particular incident, I walk in, they didn't greet me. They just start, how's your knee?
Yeah.
I'm like, how you doing? What do you want to know about my knee? Because it's ways that you can guide the conversation too, to get out what you want. But if they're being like this guy told you to shut up, like this one in particular, when I asked that question, he's like, well, you don't know how the condition of your knee? You don't know what the condition of your knee is?
Right.
I said, wait, hold on. All right, we're gonna stop this right now. I need to speak to your superior.
Supervisor. There
Who's
you
your
go.
who's your
There you
superior?
go.
You know,
Right.
because they're doctors, they think, you know, I'm not gonna say it all doctors because I got some in my family. So I don't need,
Yeah.
but you know, some people think that their word is the last word. No, it's not. Especially if you're getting paid by the government. In the government, there's a chain of command for everybody. And so, you know, he called in his superior, and I said, look, I need to reschedule this, and I need to reschedule with a different person. I said, matter of fact, a whole different facility would be outstanding because I don't feel like I would be getting a fair shake here. Number one, this person did A, B, and C to me. And then number two, I'm talking to you about it. So who knows if the next person is his friend, his wife, his significant other, you know? So, hey, I'm looking out for me, and that's all I care about, me at that instance. So I would advise you to do the same. Keep you cool. Even if if they're pushing buttons, you do have more leeway than you know. Even if you explain it, you could. I have some veterans send in a 4138. That's just a all-purpose form. Send it in. I was not pleased with this examination. The examiner did A, B, C, D. Please schedule me for an exam with the VA facility. And you can always, even though the VA schedules for an exam with a
they outsource it to a third contractor. But if you put on that request, like you said, do it at the VA, they have to do it. They have to request it through the VA. And a lot of vets don't know that. But I would say this, that M21 that states that, they need to put that in that 4138, because you may get a VSR that don't know, a new VSR that don't know about that M21.
Right.
Reference that states that. And one thing I did, I had an examiner tell me when I claimed my back condition on a secondary basis, he said, are all you people big? And I was like, what do you mean, all you people? And I went off on him. I went off the deep end. I didn't grab him, anything like that. But then as I'm driving home, I'm like, wait a minute. I know who his supervisor is because I request exams at that location. He didn't know I was a Raider at the time. This was like, I want to say maybe 2013 or 14 or something like that. I emailed the director, because I had of that hospital, because we all have VA employee emailed her, and I sent her a letter in the mail. They responded. She responded to me by email. I mean, by email and by letter in the mail. That 4138, that complaint requesting a new exam, I sent that reply from them by email and the letter I received with that 4138, and I got an exam within 6 months with a different examiner. And when I went back in for that exam, guess who was sitting in the office across the hallway? Him. So I had a copy of that exam, and the doctor would ask me, well, you know, do you know why you're here? Because doctor, whatever his name was, and I said it loud enough for him to hear, he screwed up, he was biased, and he said some negative stuff that offended me, you know, and I said it loud enough so he could hear it, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we got AMD said, call the 800 number immediately and complain about the doctor. I wouldn't do that, and this is why. They just a call center. They're just going to put on a VA form, what is it, 21-0820, why you called in. And nobody may never see that. You know, now, if you do it, I may turn around and attach a 526EZ and put it on there, because they're going to, then they have to take some type of action with it, because that's a formal claim form. I don't know. What would you do in that case, DJ?
Both of those are good things. I mean, if you do the 800 number, it creates a record of the issue. The way you said it creates an immediate record. But I like what you said at the beginning, and what I said. With me, when it's dealing with money and important things, I want to take action right then and there, because people have a short memory and aptitude for doing the right thing. So, yeah, I would address it right then and there. You know, there's different ways to address it. You can go to, like, if you got an EEO problem, you can go to the EEO. You can go to their supervisor. What I like to do is talk to the supervisor, but also there's you have a quality form, like surveys and stuff. Fill those out
at the front desk. At the front desk, especially if you had a VA CMP exam.
Right.
Yep.
And the best way to do it is you can do that online. You can do it because if you do it online, somebody can't take it out the box. Take that paper out the box and put it somewhere else.
File 13.
They're new. Yeah, everybody is human. So to alleviate that, I make a digital record. So not only do I have one in my email, my sent folder, which I'll label VA issues, my sent folder, but it's also a record of them receiving it.
Yep. And on your way out, you can ask to speak to the supervisor on your way out. Don't leave that and say, this is just what happened. Can you go get them? That way they don't have no short memory and be like, hey, I don't feel that they were being an advocate for me. They didn't ask me to, so you can ask to speak to that supervisor on the way out. Just don't leave mad and try to deal with it later. Because on the benefit side, they're going to get that exam and they're going to go ahead and move forward and do what they got to do.
Right.
And
that's appropriate. Go through with your exam and then address it immediately once you get out that room. Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a few more questions here. Derwin says, how do I get the training to do what you all do? Man, I've been doing this 10 plus years, but we have on our website the educational training that will give you the basics. And that's what we're talking about, the basics as it pertains to the claim process. So watching our videos, and like I say, we give monthly training. We had one today, only had 2 vets on there about nexus statements. You can sign up. We don't cover every single thing in the 38 CFR and M21. We would be, my challenge training was like 2 weeks and it felt like everything was crammed in. But I was in training for I think from June to October. I started in June. I didn't do my first rating until October. And it still was muddy to me at that point. But to Derwin, just to get some basics, you can go to our website, kmd89.com. It's in the description section and look under classes and you can take some of those. We got live Q&As, private Q&As that we do. But that training, we talk about DBQs, nexus statements, how to be successful in the claim process and stuff like that. That'll be a good starting point for you.
Yeah, if you have more personalized questions, the Q&A will be the best because it'll be a one-on-one and you can do it over Zoom, however you would like it.
Yep. And for those of you that don't know why I started my YouTube channel, thank this gentleman right here, Don Freed. He's a Marine vet. He has a live testimonial on our website. Go check it out. We were in a veteran entrepreneurship program and he would ask me questions on break and we get talking. He was like, man, you ought to start your YouTube channel. I'm like, man, nobody's going to listen to me. So he gave me that suggestion to start my YouTube channel. So I don't know if he's still on, but this is the guy. Let's see. It says, I thought CMP exam wasn't mandatory. VSR told me that himself. You want to take that one, DJ?
If you get a call it'll most likely be a call or a letter, and they say you're set up for a CMP examination, go to the CMP examination. Unless you've already submitted the appropriate evidence, but then you want to talk to a person and let them know, I submitted this evidence and this is the evidence. Do you have it? Because sometimes, things can be misfiled even in electronic era because you have the ability to move a document from one file to the next. So if you want to be service connected and an exam is necessary, do the exam or ask the question, why do I need to have this exam? Because I supply X, Y, and Z. We can go further down that rabbit hole because there's a lot of different other examples. But
now, what happened to me, I submitted a DBQ for an increase, and they scheduled an exam with QTC, and I talked about this in some of my videos. So I knew that it was actionable and sufficient for rating purposes. So I told them, no, I'm not going. QTC rep said, oh, you have to go. Show me the M21 states that I have to go. Well, I don't know. the M21. So how can you tell me I have to go?
Right.
I didn't go because I didn't want there to be any conflicting medical evidence. So I turned around, I called the 800 number just to tell them, to make it a record. Hey, look, that VSR didn't look at my claim because they're not trained to understand what needs to go in the DBQ. They should have sent it to the rater to review it first and say, hey, do I need to schedule an exam? They didn't do that. They just scheduled the exam. Why I didn't go to that exam? Because I knew that doctor wasn't familiar with my private treatment records. I went to my private doctor. I looked at it, and that's a service that we provide too. If you got a DBQ, we'll review it in the nexus statement to make sure that it's actionable and sufficient. Okay. I didn't go. 2 weeks later, guess what happened? I get a rating decision in the mail granting my increase.
Yep.
Okay. So it depends on your situation. Like DJ said earlier, every claim is different. Now, I'm not saying not to go or to go. I'm just explaining what I did and why.
Right.
Okay. But if you educate it on the claims process and what you're doing with your claim, you can make that decision.
Yeah. And to further elaborate on that real quick, let's say, for example, you going like my knee. All right. I supplied a DBQ. I know that DBQ is sufficient. I supplied everything they need to rate. However, they said you need to go see this CMP exam. The most important part of an examination is the veteran being able to sufficiently explain their symptomology.
There you go.
Your symptomology. So if you know what your problem is, your ailment, go to the CFR, look at that disability, look at the symptomology, figure out where you're at, and then there's percentages. So let's say, for example,
the diagnostic code criteria.
Diagnostic code criteria.
There you go.
I might, well, that could be another another episode, because it could get long. But when you go to the CFR, 38 CFR Part 4. So if you Google it, 38 CFR Part 4, Google it, and then it'll have it broken down: musculoskeletal, nervous, neurological. So once you get through there, you'll find your disability, and then each disability will have a code associated with it, but more importantly, it has symptomology and the actual rating percentage. So if you think, okay, they gave me 10%, but I should be 30%. Well, what does the 30% symptomology say? So once you know that, you're scheduled for a CMP examination, you go in and they ask, how's it going? Well, this, and this. You're hitting symptomology. Stick to the symptomology. People go in there and start elaborating. You got people that talk about anything and everything. Who cares about your cousin in Peoria? I don't care. That might be something that's cool, but when you're there,
I know some people in Peoria.
Stick to the symptomology. They ask, like I'm doing. Who you trying to sidetrack? Stick to the symptomology. My knee, my left knee, I have pain, instability. You know, you just go through that symptomology, and that you think is associated with the best descriptor of that rating percentage assigned to it.
Yep. Okay.
So if you do that, even if they call you up and say, you want to go, we have a CMP examination, you know what to say, because you know what your symptoms are. You know how to deliver that.
Yeah. So we got Tyron says, say Dwayne did what? I don't know what that question is. We got Earl said, great job. Thank you. Derwin, I hope we answer your question on how you get that training.
Is he talking about RVSR or claim stuff?
Yeah, there we go. Look who we got there. Janesville. All right, here we go. What does the evidence shows that a qualifying event, injury, or disease had its onset during your service mean? You want to take that one, DJ?
The evidence shows that a qualifying event, injury, or disease had its onset during. Well, that just means, like, say for instance, the TBI. If a boat shot out or something at 3,000 psi or whatever hit me in the head, and I had to go to to the hospital, that's an event, injury, or disease. In that particular instance, that's an event that occurred in surgery. In service. So
yeah.
the evidence shows that a qualifying event had its onset during your service. So if in that instance the guy is claiming TBI based on being hit in the head, maybe concussed, memory issues ensued, then if they were denied because they couldn't find, if they didn't have a positive medical opinion, let's just keep it simple, then this will be one of the favorable findings. The evidence shows that a qualifying event or injury, disease had its onset during your service, and then they'll explain what it was. Tool hit the person in the head, cause them to go to the emergency room or something. But I explained it in the favorable findings. It'd just be a brief explanation, have the dates and where they found it at.
Okay, here we go. We got why would a CMP examiner want to discuss the in-service incident for a routine future exam if you are already service connected? He said he thought it wasn't service connected at the end of the RFE. That's just the examiner not doing the due diligence in reviewing. But like DJ said earlier, knowing the criteria for that particular condition. Because if you go in that routine future exam and you don't know that diagnostic code criteria of why you were granted that, let's just say 20% for the back, and you don't know how they, forward flexion for the back, 30 degrees or less will give you a 40%. So if you don't know that criteria for forward flexion and how they measure forward flexion, you could possibly come out of that RFE getting reduced. So like DJ said earlier, you want to make sure you go to 38 CFR part 4 for that rating schedule and find musculatorial, and more than likely your service connected on the diagnostic code 5237, and it'll show the general rating criteria for the cervical and thoracolumbar spine, 0, 10, 20, and the 40%. And also right before that, I think it's 4.7 or something, like maybe 4.71 subpart A or something like that. It'll show you an actual diagram of range of motion, of forward flexion, extension, right lateral rotation, all of that. And it's an M21 that states that they need to be done by a goniometer, and the examiner cannot touch you and force you down. Okay? Because the little guy did that with me, the one I was telling you about. I said, man, get your hands off me. What you doing? You violated the M21. Where's your goniometer? And he was looking at me, he was like, and I know he was thinking, and one examiner said, wait a minute. Where did you get all this information? How do you know about all this? I told her, don't worry about that. That's not why we're here. You just upset because I just leveled the playing field. So I already knew she was going to say no. So, she was more worried about, well, I see you sensitive 7. What do you do for the VA? That's none of your business. Don't worry about it. You do what you're supposed to do, But like I said, I don't suggest people do that, but, All right, we got a lot of let's go back. It said, oh, wait a minute. Eric Smith, awesome job. Thank you. Great job, DJ. Bessie, awesome. Thank you. We got Paratrooper Girl, thumbs up. And she's an airborne veteran, but she wished she was at the 1st Cav in Fort Hood.
Shots fired.
Yeah.
You gotta have that thing.
Hey, dry snitch it. So I'm teasing with her. So I had the exact thing happen to me. That's what I did, and it worked. Robert Ramirez. Let's see.
Good job.
Let's see. We're just going through. Here's another one. Denley Nelson. I'm impressed with you guys. Great presentation. United States Marine Corps. First son. Who? All right. Thanks for that feedback. Leave us a comment. Hit the like, thumbs up. We've been on here almost an hour, going on 2 hours. We still got 82 people. Thanks. I knew I had it right living in Mexico. I couldn't remember the name, but he said what is it? Is it Monterrey?
Montillo.
Okay, yeah. Let's see what else we got. Here we go. The info they're passing on is priceless. Hey, I appreciate it. Hey, and also, hey, everybody, gives a thumbs up for this video. DJ put this together. He put a lot of information into it. Did some research, and even in our YouTube videos, we do research. If we showing a slide or something, that means we actually took the time, to go through and do that research. Okay, so sometimes we'll get on here and we'll just talk, but a lot of times in our YouTube videos, live stream, when we show slides, we had to go to the M21 and do research and grab it, put it in a PowerPoint, and share it with you guys. Okay, so definitely let DJ know he did a good job. We got the Nexus is the new element. And somebody actually put some well, no, that's not. Oh, those are the 0995 is the supplemental
appeals.
Yep, and 0996 the high level review. Yep. Okay. We got a one from Don Freed. What if my CNP exam conflicts with my DBQ submitted and my claim gets denied? Do I have options to appeal? Like I stated earlier, my DBQ, I knew it was actionable and sufficient for rating purposes. So I didn't go to the exam because I didn't want to give them that ammunition to possibly use against me. So if the rater didn't use my DBQ, for example, and I knew they could have, then that gives me a leg up on the high level review because there's no other information that the DRO can say, I'm going to use against you. Okay. But that's just me. But, if you did go to the exam, then it's up to the rater. And DJ said something that could come into play. Reasonable doubt. If there's reasonable doubt, it always goes in favor of the veteran. But if you do a high level review, you got to bring that up. That DRO may not bring it up. You can say, hey, wait a minute. I got, positive opinion and a negative opinion. I think you should grant this based on reasonable doubt. But you got to have that 38 CFR for that reasonable doubt. Okay.
And the other thing is, was your CMP exam or that DBQ filled out correctly? Because they could have left some areas open, and then that's why they sent you to the CMP exam. To fill in the blanks.
Yeah, but I knew the one that I did, that VSR was just lazy. I was like, I've been looking at these DBQs for years. So why am I, as a previous rater, going to submit a DBQ that ain't right? You know what I mean? That's not filled out correctly.
But in that case, do we have option for appeal? Yeah, you do. But you want to make sure you get a copy of them.
Right.
Mirror them to each other.
Right.
And then,
what is your reason for that high level review? Then when you get to that review, you can just cut to the chase. When you get that 30-minute informal conference, look, I should have been granted on reasonable doubt. Here's why.
And check out the YouTube videos about the high level reviews. We're gonna do one pretty soon.
Yeah.
About the appeals process.
Oh yeah. You got some slides on that. Thanks for all you do. I appreciate it. Casey went to 100% P&T back in December from all y'all.
Congratulations.
PNC. Yep, there you go. Congratulations, part of that 100 club.
Hundo.
Yeah.
Receive CUE on proposal to reduce. Continue.
Woo. Yeah. I would say there's going to be some more. You got to look at all the evidence because there's something missing. When you say proposal to reduce, did you have a hearing? Did you get a copy of your claims file? Because that hearing will be in there, the recording, the what they call it, the transcripts.
Yep.
And then what was the final? Do you have a copy of that rating decision that followed the hearing?
Or did the proposal come from you not showing up to an exam?
There you go.
And responding.
Right.
It's a lot of things that's
so a lot of moving parts. So Eric Smith, other information will have to be reviewed to get a thorough answer there. Marine prior to service. Okay, don't understand that.
And fireman.
Yeah.
Fire person.
Would you agree it is best interest of the veteran to take your classes and seek out the assistance of a doctor advice going to a lawyer. I didn't use a lawyer. I did have a POA, VFW represented me, but this is why. Because I didn't have access to my own folder. So I needed to be able to go into an office and they could pull my claim up. They could see in the VA system all my information and they could show me that. That's the only reason why I had a POA. And I talked about when I went in my hearing, you got 60 minutes. When you do a DRO hearing, 60 minutes, my POA talked 120 seconds. The other 58 minutes, I was talking because I knew what I had, my evidence. I knew what I was going to talk about, and I control that situation. Like DJ was saying earlier, you want to be able to reasonably articulate to whomever the what, when, why, and how. But yeah, I would suggest, we got a 3-hour training how to be successful in the claims process. A lot of people don't take it, but a lot of people that do take it, if you Google KMD 89, we got 50+ reviews, and a lot of people are talking about the training, giving positive reviews on the training, just on some of the training that they've took. Like I said, we had one today about nexus statements. We had 2 veterans, and I just asked them, I say, hey, did y'all think I talked too much? And they were like, man, you gave us a lot of information as it pertains to nexus statements because they were missing a lot, Yeah.
And it's hard. It's hard because, we were passionate about what we did. So we can talk for hours on this stuff because not only were we passionate, but we had stake in it. I got 4 generations in this house that served the country, So, but at what was the question, Lieutenant QT? What was that?
Oh, okay.
So nothing against lawyers or anything, but that most of the times you got to pay them. You got to pay them. POAs, man, there's some outstanding POAs, and they're very knowledgeable. But who got more passion for you being successful than yourself? And the stuff that we're providing not only allows you education to accomplish your immediate goal, but once you learn how to submit a claim the right way, you can do this for all the rest of your claims. You don't have to go to anybody asking for their help or anything. You can in turn teach somebody or help somebody else, So there's something to think about.
So we got I filed a fully developed claim with my own doctor and VA helper. They're telling me not to attend the QTC and CMP exam because if they disagree, VA can use this against me to deny my claim. Is this true? There's a lot of moving parts to that. Do you have your own DBQ? Do you need a nexus statement with that DBQ? Is the DBQ completed correctly? Is the nexus statement, all this stuff that DJ talked about, we were talking about earlier, evidence and stuff like that. And like I say, those classes that we give, we got one class about nexus statements, and we got another class about how to read a DBQ. Okay. So if you take those classes, depending on, if it's an increase, then you just need a DBQ. And like I stated earlier, the reasons why I didn't go to my exam because I knew my DBQ was good. Now, like I say, we also will review your DBQ and nexus statement. If you don't take the class, we can review that information. So it's a lot of moving parts to that. Now, I never suggest people to go or not go, but what I do state, get educated so you can make an informed decision on if you should go or if you shouldn't go. Okay.
Good point.
Say, Donfrey, good advice for my CD. Took months to process, but I got it. There you go. Mark says 100% because of you. I'm waiting for mine. Hey, congrats. Glad you got it. Say I have no plans on going to CP exam because I have a fully developed claim. That's not the way that works. That's not the way that works. And a fully developed claim has nothing to do, now if you file a fully developed claim and you don't have a DBQ and you don't go to that exam, then if you're already service connected, they're going to confirm and continue. And if you're trying to get service connected, they're going to deny you. So one has nothing to do with the other. That's what I was asking DJ earlier, you know, if I have a nexus statement, I check fully developed claim, you know, is that automatic service connection? No, because they don't have, you know, the residuals of like if it's a back, you know, range of motion and stuff like that.
Right. So let me let me do this. All right, FDC. I just put it up because I got to read this if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
The purpose of the FDC program. This is straight from the manual. The Department of Veterans Affairs designed a fully developed claim program, that's FDC, for the purpose of reducing its backlog of pending claims and improving claims process timeliness. So what you're doing on the FDC is you're submitting your 526EZ or whatever particular form you got with all the evidence right then and there. You submit it. VA, I have nothing else to submit personally. Now I may have a private physician, but I'm giving you guys his name, address, or her name, address, and the permission to go out and get it for me. Whatever else needs to happen, the VA is in charge of that. So that's all the FDC is.
Right. And what I was going to say about the FDC, I did a video explaining the difference between an FDC and standard claim. I did a video, showed some slides, took some screenshots from those first, I think it's page 1 and 2 and 3 of the 526EZ, because that actual form is 12 pages long, but you only submit pages 8 through 12 to the VA. So I think on page 1, 2, and 3, it explains the difference between the two. So like I said earlier, a lot of these forms have instructions and explanations. You got to read them. Just don't go right and fill out the form and submit it, and it'll tell you about the FDC. Right. We got a question. Where do you submit that request at? Go to the description section of this video. In the in the lower right hand corner, right here, show more button. Show more on all YouTube videos. In that left lower, left lower right here, click show more. When you open, there's going to be a lot of information. And guess what? When you click that button, it's going to get bright just like this. Okay, wait a minute. Oh, it's going to get bright just like this. Okay. And it's like Charlie Murphy seeing Rick James for the first time. You're going to have that glow. Okay. You're going to have that glow. The room going to get bright because there's so much information. But in there, I list how I did. I requested mine. If you're talking about requesting your claims folder. Okay. The Warrior. Hey, what's going on? I'm doing good. I have been watching your videos. You are doing a great service for veterans. Thank you. I also give a shout out to DJ as well. We got a passion for this. Make sure you click that subscribe button, hit that notification button as well. Question for DJ. I'll let you take it. He say that's a question for you, DJ.
If you are 100% PNT over age 55, they are not going to bother with you anymore. Well, if you're 100% PNT, period, they shouldn't mess with you. I mean, it's permanent.
Yeah, a lot of people think, oh, they just gonna randomly go grab my file. And I've been service connected 100% PNT 10 years ago. They just gonna grab my file if I don't go get treatment. You're not getting any treatment. Let's go back and look at his file. Don't work like that.
Right. And yeah, you talk about the age 55. It's in there too. When you go to va.gov, type M21, you'll go there and then just type in age 55, and you'll see what LJ is referring to. But if you're 100% PNT, it's permanent total until you bring something up. They won't just arbitrarily open your file. It's too much work to be done. Right.
And I did a video on that, the M21, where it talks about routine future exams. So what it states is if you are 55 or older, or will be 55 at the time you're going to have, if the rater is going to assign that RFE, do not schedule the RFE. But some raters think, oh, the veteran is 100%, they're not 55, I have to schedule a routine future. That's not the way the regulation reads. Okay, it states that if it gives instructions to the RVSR, if the veteran is 55 or older, or will be 55 at the time of the routine future, do not schedule the routine future. Okay.
And what Dwayne's talk about routine future, RFE for short, routine future examination. Say, for example, you were granted, let's say hearing loss. You were granted hearing loss at 10% with the routine future because sometime in the future, they want to reassess your disability to see what the severity is. So they'll schedule you out.
Right. Now, if I had a routine future back when I used to rate, they would tell us schedule it 5 years out. Now, just because you have a routine future, it doesn't mean you have to wait until that routine future. You could come back the day after that rating and file an increase with a DBQ. And if the doctor says that that condition is permanent, which is in that same M21 as at 55 years, guess what? Now they have to grant that chapter 35. So you don't have to wait until that routine future. And I did a video on, I think it was in a 5-part video I did, or something when I was talking about P&T in chapter 35. I gave an example of what to look for so you'll know if you have a routine future. In that last sentence, since there's a likelihood of improvement, if you see that anywhere in the narrative,
Routine.
it means you got a routine future. And
Likelihood of improvement.
right. So you don't have to wait until the routine future. If it was me, I had to do it again. I go get a DBQ 2-3 days later after that a rating decision. I'll submit the increase with that DBQ and have the doctor to put your condition is permanent. That RVSR either got to grant the increase or CNC that evaluation if it keeps you at 100, but then they have to take issue with chapter 35, aka P&T permanent in total, and grant that. I wouldn't wait no 2, 5, 6 years. No, oh no.
Yeah. Well, LJ, you at the 100% P&T, man. You're at the pinnacle.
Yeah.
Or woman, you at the pinnacle.
Yeah. You can come to Florida and take us out.
There you go.
To Kobe, what's that? Kobe Steakhouse. Let's see. If the veteran is 100% P&T and under 35 years of age, how likely is the VA got reduction? Why would they go back and look at it? Why would they even touch it? You don't. If you're 100% P&T, you don't have to keep getting treatment for that condition. I've been asked that. You can just, I'm 100% permanent total. It's conditions I don't even get treatment for. And I'm not even worried about them going back and looking, because that's not a requirement. Right. You can, that's up to you. That, like DJ said earlier, it's just not going to just go pull your file and say, oh, let me look through here to see if they've been getting treatment, because that file is not going to show if you've been getting treatment. What if you've been getting treatment from a private doctor? You know what I'm saying? So they're not going to go back and look and just randomly pick you out of the cloud and and go
right, because that can open up a Pandora's box. What if they pull yours and, like Dwayne said, you haven't been going to the VA. You don't want to go to the VA. You've been going to your private physician because you got a long established relationship, and then they try to pull it thinking that oh, well, we can reduce them, and then here you go with all this evidence to support yourself. Now, that's going to rise to a different level of inappropriate use of federal funds.
Yeah. So we're gonna take a few more questions. We're gonna wrap it up here. We still got a lot of people in here. Green Zimmerman, can you stress the importance of statement to support a claim and brief detailing what, when, and how it supports the claim? I always look at that 4138 just an extra sheet of paper. That's it. The information that you put on it is the most important piece. Like DJ said earlier, being able to reasonably articulate and explain your case. And it's just 4138. That's why I look at it. Like, when you take them tests in school, it would be like you can use a couple of extra sheets of paper. DJ, you got any feedback on that?
No, you hit it on the button. The main thing, statement in support of the claim, evidence. Think of any time you're dealing with the VA, you want to provide the best and most appropriate evidence you can that speaks to your current symptomology. So if you do that, then you'll be fine.
Yeah. Darwin says urgent care, huh? Yep, that's what I use. Like Ronnie Coleman say, yeah, buddy.
Yeah, and think about it too. Some of the old vets, they have a particular way of looking at things. I had one guy, he said he did not want any VA disability because he don't like asking for help.
Right.
So same thing. I don't go to a doctor because whatever the reason. So they may just pop into urgent care from time to time, and they are licensed physicians, nurse practitioners. Nurse practitioners could write a DBQ or diagnose a disability.
They said I'm 100% P&T, so I don't know about that, Dwayne. I don't know what they're saying, but they come back and say senior rater. Do they use that term now, senior rater? I know, like I was a journeyman, but I don't know. I never heard of senior rater.
I haven't heard that.
Because I know back, you had to take that test to become a journeyman and get your GS12 or something like that.
Right.
So, hey, Jalen McWilliams. Wait a minute. You from Southern Illinois? I think I knew him. Keep up the great work, Dwayne. Came across town and has been helping me with my claim, bro. Lots of fun at Bike Week. Yep, Jug. What's up? Yeah, I know him. Yeah. From South. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, all right. What's up, man? How your brother doing down there in Memphis? Okay. She said, please stop advertising. Big name. I know him. When he said Bike Week, we've been knowing each other for a few years. Okay. Man, the examiner screwed. Okay. He said, screw me. I hate to hear that. Favorable decision. What is it? It says, why is this so hard? I can just say, just like, me and DJ say, get educated, and that'll help alleviate some of the frustration. I think that's the best advice. Jug says, not advertise anything, man. I know him personally. Yeah, we know each other. And Jug, that R1 sitting out in the garage, it still could outrun that Booster. Don't get it twisted now. QTC needs a questionnaire packet to you before the CMP. Should you submit that packet to the VA as evidence? I think what I've been hearing, especially for the mental conditions, DJ, what they're saying, the examiner will send them like a questionnaire to complete before. But if you get something like that from QTC, LHI, if they send some asking questions, then I would say definitely answer it and get it back to them, because obviously they want to review something,
Right. And that works to your benefit because you have the package. You can sit there, go pull up the CFR. You know what your symptomology is, and you can fill it out. And you can fill it out and review it and look it over once again before you send it off. So you're working for yourself. You're working for yourself.
I didn't know I can ask for another CMP. Yeah, you can. And, sometimes in a private Q&A session that, private Q&As that we do is like one-on-one with veterans, and we ask you to send some questions on the claims process. Now, these Q&As are not a how-to, but to ask questions so we can show you in the M21 where we were talking about, where if you feel the exam was insufficient, burden of proof is on you, and we could share those things in private Q&As. You could just contact us in private Q&As. We set up one-on-one. So it's a time with either myself or DJ, but a public Q&A is every Friday at 1:00, and all those are listed on our website. Some QTC reps don't even want that survey. Yeah. Let's see. I would do a congressional, so the complaint comes out of 96 and it has to be addressed in writing. I'm assuming, do you think she's talking about filing a complaint with the congressperson?
I think so.
If that's the case, when I would get those in a rating decision, I would look at them. Just because they came from a senator, don't hold any weight with me, because I still have to follow the 38 CFR and the M21. So regardless of what that congressman or congresswoman says in there, I'll read it. I'll put it in the evidence section that I read it, but I still got to follow that 38 CFR and the M21 reference. So I can't, just because they in Congress, I can't really.
I will get those, and I still have to work I still would have had to work the claim the way I had to work it. There's procedure and protocol. So because the congressman is chiming in on it, that congressman is acting on the information they're getting from you, the veteran. But
Right.
they may
They're not
not know
saying, the whole
the
story.
reason that perpetuated the event,
Right.
So
Right.
it could be like, hey, we're waiting evidence. We sent it out to his private treatment facility. We're waiting for the evidence to return before we make the decision. Now, it's out of the VA's hand. It's on the private doctor.
Right. I had a QTC sent back for further information. What does that mean? They probably messed up on the exam, and they call it an addendum. So they send it back saying, hey, we need some type of clarification. Because it could be many reasons. The examiner forgot to put something in there. Go ahead, DJ.
No, I was going to say, and one example is like you claiming left knee. The examiner wrote right knee. Now we know you have left knee. Examiner knows that, but they made a mistake. So instead of wasting government money, send it back for an addendum.
And if the RVSR don't, they can grant it. And if they grant it, it could get a star error. And I think they still do those, don't they, DJ? You could get a star error against the regional office that you work for from, what does they call it, the district office or something. And we would have to do a backfill rating. That wouldn't go to you. But, man, if you were denied and they didn't do an addendum, man, you're going to get hit with an error. You're talking about bullet sweating because I think it's easier for them to fire you. And you're like, oh, man, let me, I got to go back and, stop doing what I'm doing. And, so.
Yeah. Raiders are under,
man,
a good bit of stress, I mean, it's a fun job. Those that like the job, they can deal with the stress, and some others, it's quotas, not just quotas, but you got to, your work is valued as points.
Exactly.
So without going to a whole bunch of detail.
Yeah. VSR lied to you. I think she's saying that when the VSR said you had to go to the exam or something like something. Yeah. Said she lied to you. Was that Carmacita? Okay. All right. Thanks for answering my question. Simplify. I can have. He says, can I have that CSR?
Oh,
CFR.
38. Put it in the chat?
Yeah. Type it in. Can you type it in chat, DJ? 38 CFR. Part 4? Yeah. It's part 4.
I don't have the ability. I got private chat access, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was it? 38 CFR?
38 CFR part 4.
Hey, Mr. Grant, I just I typed it in the chat window for you. John Thomas said VA needs to clean the process up and update the VA math. It's horrendous. 2 + 2 = 3. My back ZMP examiner touched me. Mine did too, and I told them to take their hands off me, and they're not supposed to touch you. Come see the great job, gentlemen. Thanks for the great work and thorough feedback. Not a problem. There we say, get them lights up. That's what I'm talking about. Get them lights up. There we go. That airborne soldier. Wish they were at the first calf. There you go. There it is. Can the CMP examiner test your strength by pushing against your arm? Depends on what the exam is for. If you are doing a shoulder, they're not supposed to touch you. But depends on what the CMP exam is for. Excellent job, guys. Thank you, Brenda. Do a vid on caregiver support growth. I did. Robbie, if you go back and look at my live stream from October or November, I talked about, in those videos, I talked about the caregiver program, and I gave links to where you could get the application and the qualifications for the caregiver program. And maybe we'll do it in another video, live stream as well. Y'all scare me. I broke my neck in service. Y'all scare me. I broke my neck in service. Can I at least expect 10%? It's going to be based off of range of motion, how far you can go left, how far you can go right, how far you can go up, how far you go down. But other things are going to have to be met as well.
If you have pain, make sure you say you have pain.
Yep. I would
You
even
have
put
pain,
that.
the words, I have
Yeah.
pain.
Now, there's a thing, and I talked about this. If you claim, I'm claiming the neck condition, I have pain with pain on reduced range of motion, and you go to that CMP exam, and that doctor doesn't list pain, I think there's a 38 CFR M21 that states that the RVSR has to give you 10% if there's a positive opinion, because the way you word it, they could use subjective evidence of pain. But if you don't word it that way on the claim form, and a doctor doesn't state that you have pain, objective pain, then you could get a 0% if you have full range of motion. Okay. I don't know what that 38 CFR is. I gotta find that. Ray says, let's get these likes up. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Here we go. Do a vid on caregiver support. Already did it. Check the live. Go to the YouTube channel. Check the live stream. I think it's from October and November. And if you don't have to watch the whole video, click that show more button. You're going to get that light. Your whole room is going to illuminate, and you'll see the link that I talk about the caregiver program. Okay. There it is again. Do a vid. Okay. All right. As a former VSR, why? Okay, she said. I think she said she's a former VSR. Hey, Carmen, I got a question for you. If you are a former VSR, got a question for you. If a vet submits a DBQ for increase for a service-connected condition, what would you do? Would you send that to the rater to review the DBQ, or you would request the exam? So I'm assuming you say you're a former RVSR. So I'm asking you that question. Okay. As a former VSR and VAMC employee, Dwayne and DJ, you're both great with detailing subject matter needed. You're definitely not outwinded when it comes to claims in this process. Hey, I appreciate it. Like DJ said earlier, we got a passion for it.
Oh, for that, that caregiver support, there's plenty of information. You go to www.caregiver.va.gov.
And that's a link.
Caregiver.va.gov.
Yeah. And that's a link that I put under one of those live streams that I did.
Yeah.
John Thompson, I'm going to sign up for the next class. Okay. All right. I'm going to hold you to it. Just had CMP examination, and the NP said I deserve my service connection for migraine. I hear that a lot. And I don't trust that, because they try to get you calm, cool, and collective. And then, oh, yeah, you should get service connected. And then they get denied. Then the veteran think it's the RVSR. It's that actual examiner that gave you a negative opinion.
Right.
They just set you up for the okie doke to get comfortable.
Yeah. Because the RVSR, they rating pretty much black and white. You get the exam, putting it in the computer.
Yep.
And it determines it. Of course, we system check the computer by going through the manual, physically going through the manual. And then if any gray areas, it falls to the veteran.
Yep. John Thompson said, yes, Memphis, do you have any connects out here? John, I had a buddy of mine, one of my best friends. He lived in Olive Branch, spent a lot of time there. Had another friend of mine. He grew up in Humboldt, just north of Jackson, Tennessee. And if you grew up in Memphis, John Thompson, I want to ask you, do you know how to do that dance, the Trigger Man? Oh my God, the Trigger Man. Woo! That's another topic though. All right. No, sir. Same CMP examiner 2 years in a row. And both DBQ and therapy presented by my outside. I should have done like you, DK. Information is power. There it is.
Eric Smith.
What did the hand say to the face, Charlie Murphy?
Darkness.
Darkness. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Yep, spent a lot of time there, Johnny. In Atlantic Beach and North Myrtle Beach up in Cherry Grove section. Okay. All right, we're almost done here. Hit the Donfrey said, hit the like button. It tells the YouTube algorithm that people like this content, and they'll show his videos to more veterans so he could possibly, hey, thanks, Don. So, yeah, definitely hit that like button. We're up to 93 people in 2 hours. Man, this is people still coming in. Conversation said, yes, was a VSR, and as of the last month, I will send it to RVSR for rating. There you go. There you go. Hey, Conversation, thank you for what you do for veterans as a VSR. You know, you and DJ, we know we're on a quota, and you know, you got to get them claims out. So thumbs up to you, Conversation, and thank you for what you do for veterans at the VA. Appreciate it. Okay. Conversation, we spoke back in January, medically retired, and I'm saying, okay. All right, I don't remember that name. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, welcome to that club.
Yeah, the pinnacle.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. My wife turned down for caregiver. We are trying to get it based solely on mental and physically able to make care of it. I think for the caregiver program, it has to be due to service-connected conditions. But that's on the healthcare side.
Well, can I show this real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, DJ. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me see.
Let me pull this off right quick. All right, now see if we can pull it up. Hold on, there you go. Yeah.
Okay. So this is the website. If you guys can see that, that's the website. VA caregiver support. You scroll down. How do I apply for this program?
There it is.
It'll take you through it and the different ways to do it. And then it'll give you some background information too. All this stuff is there for you.
Hey, DJ,
yes, sir.
Copy that link, put it in the private chat, and then I'll put it in the comment section so they can see it. Okay.
There it is.
Okay. Hold on, everyone. Let me see if I can copy link. Okay, everyone that wants to know about the caregiver program, I just put it just popped up down at the bottom. So check that out. Okay.
Loads of information on there and phone numbers to talk to a person too.
Ray says, can I have that R1 since you have it in the garage? Man, a lot of people want it. It's an 06, and I think I just went over 10,000 miles. So
man, I don't get ain't even broken in yet.
I know, man. But you know what? Because I'm always
changing 10,000.
Yeah, I'm doing videos. I'm doing videos. So it says, thank you for that info. The CNP advised me that doctor has until May 8th. Thank you. Got it. I'm in Tampa. We'd love to meet you guys. Okay. Yeah. We're down in Apollo Beach. Yeah. Okay. All right. Hit the like button and tell. Okay. There we go. I appreciate it, Don. Like his content. Use this knowledge, destroy that like button. Yeah. We got 89 people still coming in. Hit that like button. You know, we're almost 2.5 hours and we're still giving out good information. Somebody said something.
Received 9 hours of care. Somebody said I just received 9 hours of care approved by VA. Evangelist Barbara Smith Price.
Okay, I'm trying to find that.
Just received 9 hours of care approved by VA. Good.
Look at it. Somebody Yamaha ain't messing. Okay, don't get it twisted. Let's see. I mean, congressional through 887. Okay, I got you. Carmencita, somebody said, I think Don Free said we should have you on the live stream. Give me a call. I think we could probably do something towards the end of the month or next month, and we can just do like a quick 30-minute hour with you, myself, and DJ, and we can just kind of talk about, you know, some of our experiences as Raiders and VSRs and what kind of pressures that we were under. So if that's something you want to do, hey, hit me up and I'll send you a waiver and we can, you know, get you on here because we could have 3 people on here at a time and just let's, you know, tell some people about behind some scenes, some personal experiences, how we, you know, did work and stuff. I think that's it.
Oh, there was one. I didn't see you hit this. It was Robert Ramirez.
Is it above where I'm at now?
Don Free. It's right above. Jen Silver and Paratrooper Girl. It's like
There it is.
907.
There it is.
Yeah. Rated 5 years ago, and you have a routine future examination. Wow,
I think
5 years ago.
I think I know what he's talking about. An RFE, if you are service connected for a particular percentage, at a particular percentage, and it's under 5 years, and you come in for an increase, and the increase shows improvement, then you can be reduced. But if it's more than 5 years, then they need 2 exams to show improvement. To be reduced. But an RFE, if it's more than 5 years, they still can reduce you or based off their RFE. That's the only exception.
As he said, what regulations apply during the new RFE? So,
yeah,
I mean, routine future examination, they always going by current symptomology. So if it's current symptomology, they're going to rate you off of current symptomology, current regulation.
Right.
Now, if they're talking about how it was back then at that particular time, let's say 2014, they got to go off of 2014 regulations. But they're not going to go off of 2014 regulation in 2021.
Right.
I don't know. I think if that answers your question, Robert.
Okay.
But you're right about the knee instability.
Let's see.
Also, if you were rated back then, and I don't know, I don't know what you got, but say if you're at 0, and now you're saying that you have pain, that's an automatic increase.
Yeah. Yep.
So for folks out there, if you had knees connected, elbow, shoulders is 20% just on pain.
Right.
If you have pain before, they wouldn't rate that, you know. But now, new regulation, 20% pain, 10% for the other major.
Right. So if you're at 10% for right shoulder, left shoulder, you can just come in for an increase. And like DJ say, pain, that's going to boost you up to 20%. Now, if you're at 94% overall, that's going to get you that 95% threshold. You got to give you 100% P&T. Don says Carmencita should be on as a guest. Yeah, I agree, Don. Hopefully she reaches out to me. We can get her on and we can just talk about, being a VSR and an RVSR and some experiences and stuff. Excellent information. Thank you, sir. Jonathan, I can't do the trigger man dance. I just moved because I heard Tennessee had a better VA system. Okay. All right. Got here late, but thanks for the great info. Hey, thanks for coming in. Ms. Richardson. Conversation said definitely can do that. Yeah, just reach out to me. 800. No, I'm not 800. I'm thinking I'm about to give them a number to the call center. 800 1000. Like the way
old habits. Old habits.
855-765-3137 extension 0, and you can get to me, and we could get you on and stuff. Let's see. I just got approved 100% TDIU, but got 4 claims remanded. Should I cancel those or do examination with back pay? Whew. What do you think about that, DJ?
That's a personal call because we don't know your claims. You know what I mean? So when people ask questions like this, it's kind of like ambiguous because 100% TDIU, that's 100% temporary unemployability, right? So got 100% unemployability, but got 4 claims remanded. What are the 4 claims? We don't know the details of them to, give you back and forth. But I mean, 100%, you're at the pinnacle. So it's just up to you because you said, should I cancel those or do examination for back pay?
Man, that's tricky. I mean, a lot more information.
Yeah. A lot more information.
Yeah. I never tell somebody to cancel or not because you never know. There could be a substantial amount of pay for back pay, even though you did get the 100% TDIU. But it's just more information that's going to have to be provided, in that case.
But if you go in prepared, knowing your symptomology, you are controlling the game at that point.
Yep. Carmencita say, yep, definitely we can do it. Yep, just let me know. Gave you that number. Let's Let's see. Thank you, gentlemen, for everything you do. Appreciate it. Thank you. LOL. Oh, happens that hard. Well, I was so about to give it an 800-827-1000. Like, yeah, let me talk to Wayne. That means I'm gonna say, what are you talking about? You know. That is great. Hey, you guys, great. Thank you. Thanks for all the information you shared, guys. Can a static rating ever be reduced? Yes and no. Like DJ said earlier, you get to the rating schedule, you see that condition, that criteria, and you may get like tinnitus. No, I don't think tinnitus. I've never seen tinnitus claim get reduced, but knowing about the conditions that you're service connected for, okay, that's where you're going to have to, you know, I don't know. What do you think about that, DJ?
I don't ever put the, always or never attached to anything, because all this stuff is fluid and it's based on the evidence and your particular case. But Dwayne hit the key. He said, if you know your condition, know your symptomology, then you're protecting yourself, because you can't transmit something that does not go with what you're trying to explain to the examiner. So
right?
If you talk about your left knee, you're going to explain everything that's going on with your left knee in accordance with what the VA has dictated, and that's the 38 CFR. You look at that 38 CFR Part 4, you look at your condition, your diagnosis, look at your symptoms, and look at the rating that you think you should be getting for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the last one we're going to take, guys, and we're going ahead and shut it down. I think me and DJ said we're going to do this for an hour.
I told you we could talk for this
all day. Yeah. I received 100% permanent total, but feel they owe me back pay. Ms. Price, get with us. We do decision reviews to see, look at effective dates based on the evidence in the rating decision. If you want us to, we can review it to see what's what, to see if there's possible, what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do one more a month. We're not going to leave them out. I'm at 100% P&T, but have tinnitus. Would it be wise to go for that? That would be up to you. I was 100% P&T, and I went in for an increase for a couple of conditions, but I knew I was submitting the DBQs for both. I made sure that both those DBQs were actionable and sufficient for rating purposes. And when I submitted the claim, so I didn't worry about them going back and looking at everything else. They didn't go back through my claim file and look at every single thing that I was service connected for. In a couple of weeks, I got, rating decisions granted me an increase for that. Let's see. Mr. Get ready to file CPAP machines, foot pain. Would that open me up for all of the claims? I'm trying to figure out, where are people getting this information?
It's going around
that when you submit something, they're going to go back and look at everything. I did a video on it. That's
town hall.
Yeah. That's misinformation. And we do these town halls events, people, join, because sometimes, they're free, obviously, at town hall. But we ask those questions. Yeah, somebody brought it up in the town hall meeting. And I want to know, somebody tell me, where are you all getting this information from that if you file a claim, you're 100%, they're going to go back and look at everything? And I think when we get Carmencita on here, we're gonna ask her, but as a VSR, she probably didn't run into that too much. But man, I'm seeing that a lot. I'm like, man, where's that coming from? Right. Now obviously if you coming in for increase in the right knee, in your service connection for both knees, they have to do range of motion on both because it's a bilateral factor. And if that left knee shows improvement, then depending on how long you've been service connected for that percentage, if it's been under 5 years or over 5 years, that's going to come into play.
Right. And that goes back to education. If you know
There it is.
what you had before, and what you had before, let's say 30%, and then you got the CFR Part 4. You go there, look up what your symptomology is. Then you go to your exam. If it's improved or if it got worse, you know how to explain yourself. So
Right.
at that point, it becomes a you problem. So
Right.
do yourself a favor. Go to 38 CFR Part 4. Go to the videos if you need some private Q&A, whatever. It's all about education here. But I'm at 90% and getting ready to file for CPAP migraines. Would that open me up for? Look, I told a friend of mine something. Yes, well, she had something similar to this, and I said, look, it's kind of like taking your car in for oil change. You going in for one specific thing, it's oil change, but they offer another services. We'll do a quick review of your car. We're going to do a system check your wiper blades, check your fluids and your air filters and all that. Yeah, they're going to do that, but it's a quick review. So when a rater is going back, they're looking at the previous ratings, yes, but for just for errors, readily identifiable errors.
Right.
Because to do that on every single case, to go back through everything and that's a lot of work. When we got a lot of veterans that are in need of service, that are in need of health care, and imagine all of that going on, and then veterans still filing appeals because they messed up. They didn't know how to apply for it. They didn't have the education. And then on top of that, you got people wanting caregivers. On top of that, you got people wanting housing allowance. On top of that, you got dependent, DEA, Chapter 35. I mean, it is a lot of stuff that's out there, but you got to know how. You got to educate yourself on how to properly apply for it, and articulate your symptomology.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was something I was going to say, but yeah, you hit the nail on the head with that one. We got Shat Exposure. He got 3 questions. I'm going to see. I'm just going to take one of those, sir. He says, my C file doesn't have the bilateral factor. Do I need to do a high-level review?
C file. Oh, the rating. So it's rating.
But if he doesn't have like both knees or both ankles, the bilateral factor will be a moot issue.
Right.
I don't quite understand that one.
So if you have, for example, bilateral factor, if you got the left knee service connected and the right knee service connected, but when you have 2 things of the same nature, 2 knees, then you get what's called a bilateral factor, which is like an additional percentage added to it. So instead
he says
10%, you get
He says both knees. Here you go. Both knees and both ankles are rated. So yeah, the bilateral factor is included. Now they're not going to break it down to you, but if you go to the compensation, what they call it, not the rate table, but the formula that they use, I got an Excel spreadsheet, and it'll give like 10 for the right knee, 10 for the left knee. Then you're factoring in the bilateral factor. So it's there, but it's you're not going to see it on the rating code sheet.
And if you want to double check that, you got to request your records. Then when you get your records, you can look through there and you'll know for certain because it'll have bilateral factor.
Show them that CD again, DJ. Show. There it is. Bam. Okay. What does rating decision made waiting for second signature mean for supplemental claim? That could possibly be it's a new rater and they have to get second sign. Somebody else has to review it. It could be that a CUE was found, and I don't know if they still have to sign off. Somebody else has to sign off if a CUE was made, if it needed to be signed off by an assistant veteran, was it AVSM, assistant veteran service center manager, or the service center manager. That could be a second signature.
Or you're getting a lot of monies.
Man,
whoo! I did one and got this guy like, I think it was maybe 300,000 plus.
Yeah.
And
so that's like
you gotta have additional signatures.
So they're like the ball getting thrown up. Shoo, you about to get hit with a lot of dough. All right. Educational here is outstanding. Even though I know how to file my claims, I still prefer to pay for assistance. That has accelerated my claims process. And, you know, Don has a live testimonial on our website. Go to it and check it out. If you go to kmd89.com and look at live testimonial, click on the live testimonial links at the top. You'll see all our testimonials. Okay. If the veteran is 100% PNT and under 35 years age, I like it. We covered that earlier. The question, you know, they're not going to go back and grab that. They're not going to, you know, the only time they're going to look at it if you come back in, but that doesn't mean that you're going to get reduced. So like DJ said earlier, you got to be educated on your claim. And I talked about this. A veteran got service connected for a knee condition at 30% after a knee replacement. Then he came in for the left knee due to the right knee, and I saw that he never had a knee replacement for the right knee. So I had to propose to sever service connection for a knee at 30% and reduce it, do a proposal to reduce down to 10% because it changed the overall rating. Now, as a veteran, you know you got that temporary 100% for 13 months for that knee replacement. You know you didn't have a knee replacement. You know, it was just an arthroscopic knee surgery. So he shot himself in the foot because if he never would have came back in, we never would have looked at it.
Right.
You know, so, but hey, we're going to go ahead and shut it down, everybody.
Oh, that's Derwin.
Okay, where he's at.
Hey, Derwin. He said, yeah, we got to put that disclaimer out there. It relays how your symptomology associates with the rating, the percentage. So if you're looking for 10%, 5, 20, 10, 20, 30, 40, 100, it'll have the association. So it'll tell you how to relay your symptomology to the examiner. So that's
good example. Diagnostic code 8100, migraines. If you know you were treated in service for migraines, right? And you come in for service connection and you know you got that neurological exam for migraines. So they have already made that connection with DJ's talking about that link. Okay. So you go in and the way to reasonably articulate that on exam, I have one or two completely prostrating migraine attacks over the past several months, severe economic inadaptability. You tell them that you just gave them the criteria for the 50% for migraines. Now, if that doctor gives a positive opinion and it states you have completely prostrating attacks, you know, I think was it completely prostrating attacks, severe economic, you know, interferes with your employment, then you should get the 50% criteria. So like DJ saying, you got to know, look at that rating criteria to see where you fall so you can speak to that symptomology on the exam.
Yeah. I got one. You want me short?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Let's be real quick because shoot, man, we going over. But I told y'all we love this stuff. So
oh yeah. Like you say, we just talk.
All right. Now this is a popular one. This is mental. So PTSD, TBI, sexual trauma. All right. Let's say you know, you got hygiene problems, neglect of personal hygiene. See that? Now this is 38 CFR Part 4. So that is the 70%. So all of these symptomology go with this rating. This symptomology goes with this. Now, let's say, for example, let me see if I can get my.
And another good thing, this can be used if you had an increase for PTSD and the doctor did a DBQ. You can look at the beginning. It says total occupational and social impairment, occupational and social impairment. So depending on the occupational and social impairment, and then the symptoms in section 2 of the review DBQ for PTSD, and in section 3 of the DBQ for other mental, it'll give the symptoms. So if you look on page 2, you'll see the occupational impairment, and then you look in the symptom section, and it says occupational impairment with such symptoms as, and if those are checked, that's the percentage you fall under. Simple.
right.
And in our class of how to read a DBQ, guess what we talk about?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, DJ. I didn't mean to cut you. Did you?
Oh, no. You hit it. Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I had to catch myself before I get caught up in it.
There's our VSR again. Come and see.
Prostrating attacks. Yeah.
Completely. 50% criteria. Completely prostrating.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we trying to relate to you how to get your condition across to the examiner in a way that they understand it and will write down the same so the VA rater can understand it.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna challenge Carmencita. Since you're a previous VSR, sign up for our event tomorrow, the quiz. You want to test your knowledge on the VA claim? Sign up tomorrow. Go to our website. It's in the description section. Everybody sign up.
And it's multiple choice. Ask a question. Multiple choice.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's fun because you'll see other people their score after each. I ran DJ and our assistant. To give a shout out to our assistant, Miss Deborah. I forgot to mention it. Yeah. I ran them through it. I think it was a couple of days last week and stuff. So it's kind of neat the way it's set up and stuff. And it's fun. But again, it's educational. It gets you to thinking about certain things as it pertains not only to your claim, but the claims process in general. So definitely sign up. It's free. Go to our website. There's a lot of information on that website. Again, it's like clicking that show more button. I give how I requested, submitted the request for a copy of my claims file, how do I did an intent to file, the link to the new DBQs, because we go to the VA website, I was like, man, I can't find the DBQs. So once I found it, and I think at least the last 5 or 6 videos, at least videos since March, I put the link to where you get the DBQs from. So a lot of good information in the description section. Right. Go there and look. Go there and look. I'm gonna do one more. I'm looking at this.
Okay.
How long do I have to wait to refile after now? Give you an example of mine. I went to the mailbox one day at 4:30. Had a denial. 8:30, I went to that urgent care that I was telling you about. Got my new evidence. When I went to work the next day, filed for reopen. I think a few weeks after that, I filed. That's when the DBQs came out the first time. So I don't think that there's a time limit. At least I haven't seen one in the M21. But you got a response to that, DJ?
No, you hit her on.
Yeah. Okay. So, Carmencita, if I don't see you in that thing tomorrow, we're going to come looking for you because you say you signed up. So see what knowledge I still have. Okay. You just left back in January, so you you should have some. But anyway, we got the 4-part event. We did the first one, the town hall. We have the other one tomorrow, which is the quiz. Now, the next event is going to be, I think, on the 19th, and we're building a veterans claims file. It's going to be real small, and we're going to try to give people a couple of weeks. So, you're going to have a week to sign up. Then we're going to close it, and we're going to give you a Google Drive link. You're going to have a fake DD-214. You're going to have a fake 526EZ filled out by a John Doe veteran. You're going to have fake STRs, and you're going to have to come up with, and we may even do it like at a Kahoot just to, do multiple choice of, what is the effective date for this? Why did, get denied for this or something? So a lot of stuff that we're talking about, trying to make it fun for you. And stuff like that. So everybody on here tonight, Denise Green, Ms. Richardson, Carmencita, Darwin, Don Freed, want to see you, Eric Smith. It's that time. Who else on here? The Warrior, Shat Exposure. I want to see all you. Stan Grant, want to see all you tomorrow. Sign up. We still got some seats available. But just get in there, and it's going to be fun. But the next event after this VA claim quiz, you're going to be put in the hot seat as a rater. So you're going to see, how it feels. It's not going to be anything like you rating a Parkinson's or SMCR1 or something like that. To put something together like that is just going to be, that'll be too tough. So I'll just leave it at that and let DJ have the closing, any closing comments. You're muted, DJ. Oh, there you go.
Muted.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
I'd like to thank everybody for participating or following along. If you get any good information from this, please pass it along. We're doing this out of passion, straight passion. And Dwayne, he's big on educating vets. You know, if you educate the vet, they'll know not only how to do the claim, but how to pursue future claims, and if they have family and friends, how to help them. But today we were talking about VA favorable findings. Remember, you don't remember anything else. Favorable findings are simply evidence in your favor. All right. So it's evidence in your favor that because they denied it, they have to tell you about that. You know, it just can complete the link. And so please, if you don't have your service treatment records or your claims file,
that's a challenge.
Please request that. You know, you're not doing me any service by doing it. You're doing yourself a service, you know, and if you have it, then you know what your basis is. You can't build a house without a foundation. That's your foundation. Know what's in there that's talking about you so you can intelligently talk about your issues. And also that VA website, va.gov, go there. There's plenty of information. That's the old files. See that?
Yeah.
That's the old files.
Yeah.
I'm going to put, next time, I'm going to put mine out.
Oh, you got yours?
I need 2 arms though. But
oh man.
Yeah.
So this is private medical evidence, STRs. See, I think my STRs from service. I don't know, maybe it's so and this is, and remember when we used to have the tab, see the little tabs. So this is the way we would have to sit here like this and open it up and just flip. But now everything is electronic. So sorry about that. But yeah. Challenge everybody to get that claims file.
Get your claims file. Get service treatment records. Request them. It'll take a while. Don't get frustrated. We all know that the government ain't the fastest, you know.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of good people doing good work. And don't get frustrated. If you know the process, you educate yourself, then you understand what comes with it. But the STRs, that's your foundation. You need those. You need those. Please go get them.
Right. And how can you win a high level review without it? You possibly can, but I think your chances are slim. So again, hey, I want to say thank you, DJ. I know hope I took some time away from your family tonight because we said we was only going to do this for an hour and we went over 2 hours. But we've had, people are starting to log off now, but we had, average of about 75, 80 people all night. So I definitely appreciate people staying up with us and taking the time. And go to our website. A lot of people, they don't go to our website. Go to the website, kmd89.com. It's in the description section. It's a lot of information there, a lot of information, okay? In our educational training that we do throughout the month. So just continue to follow us, subscribe, subscribe, hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification button. And, just check us out when, when we, whenever we're here. So, we got the sign up for event. Great work. Yep. Carmencita. Yep. You better be there tomorrow. We're going to be looking for you. If you're not there tomorrow, I'm calling OPM. All right. Hey, signing off. Thanks again, DJ. Hey, man, good job with that presentation. Definitely appreciate it. Hey, thank you, Ms. Richardson. She just gave us super sticker, donated $10. Really appreciate that. We really do from the bottom of our heart. So again, thanks again, DJ, and hope we'll see you tomorrow. All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.